or Geylang International to go top of the Singapore Premier League? The Cheetahs return to Hougang Stadium. All faces reunited, and the opportunity for either Hougang United or Geylang International to go top of the Singapore Premier League. Those are the storylines ahead of Super Sunday in the Singapore Premier League. This match, of course, from Hougang Stadium. 563 days since Hougang United played a match here, and they take on Geylang International. But perhaps a more surprising storyline is that just before we went live, Shuko, you told me that you used to call Hougang Stadium home. Now, I thought I did my research on you, but I never found a time when you did play for Hougang United. So when did you play it in Hougang Stadium?
Well, it was back in 2005 when I signed for Young Lions, and then in mid-season I was actually put on loan to Paya Lebar Punggol. Back then it was called Paya Lebar Punggol before it changed name to Sengkang Marine, and then now Hougang United FC. So I played here for 6 months, and this is where I called home back in 2005. I would say that when I came in, the team was bottom 2, and end of the season we actually climbed to number 6 out of the 12 team. So I think this is one of the best stadium that I've played. Good fans, and I enjoyed playing here.
Of course, Shuko Zailan will take credit for Paya Lebar Punggol going up the standings. Of course, your involvement for 6 months. But what makes playing at Hougang Stadium so special?
Well, I think if you look around this stadium, this is one of those stadiums that they have stands both sides. And back then it was filled because we played game at night. So you can hear and you can feel the atmosphere. You can hear them cheering when we are playing our home game right here. So that's why I think it's special for me, because you don't really get stadium where you have stands both sides nowadays.
And fantastic stuff. Obviously, a big game today, but no sets of fans for today. Two of the best supported teams in the league, the Ultras Eagles for Geylang International and the Hougang Hools for Hougang United. How will that impact the game? You saw that yesterday with Tampines playing. Just quiet, eerie, almost atmosphere, isn't it?
Yeah, I think you will feel very, very weird without the fans, especially this Geylang and Hougang. They have a best set of fans, and they really cheer the team from the first minute until the 90th minute. So I feel they will definitely feel the absence of their fans, but I think the players' mind have to come here to play the game. Even without the fans, they have to play their best.
I didn't mention old faces being reunited. Shawal, Anders, Iqbal playing against their former sides. Always an interesting time to come up against your former side, but we know Anders and Iqbal, very temperamental players. A special game for them?
Yeah, I think for players who left their club and then playing against their old club, it's always very special. I think they want to give their best. They want to prove that they are good to stay in the club, but sadly they have to move on. But then again, you want to further your career, you need to move around and play, and which club will suit you the best.
Hougang United, one of 2 teams in the SPL with 100% records. They with 1 win from 1 game. So do DPMM FC. Where do you stand on them being title challengers this season? Are they challenging for the title, or can they win the title?
Well, I think Hougang has been quite impressive last season, and this is the first year that they play in the AFC Cup. So I think they are building something. They want to definitely do more in the league. I'm sure they'll be targeting, of course, top 3 by the end of the season. They have great signings, and of course, I would like to see more improvements in games to come.
We've watched Hougang United in the AFC Cup. They have struggled 3 points from 3 games. Why have they struggled in the Asian competition?
Well, I think it's due to probably foreign players, because I think when you play in AFC, all these foreign clubs, the foreigners are more of a quality compared to ours. And I also think because this is their first AFC Cup, most of our local players have not tasted AFC competition before. So maybe that's why they are struggling, but I mean, you will never know if they want to focus a lot on this, or they just want to participate and give these boys an experience.
Let's touch a little bit on Geylang International. An all-local strike force, they remain unchanged. A little bit of team news for you, but an all-local strike force, do you remember at any point in the league, any team going all-local up front?
Well, I think the last local strike force, I think, will be with Tampines Rovers, where Alam Shah, Khairul Amri and Alexander Duric playing up front. So other than that, I don't remember any local strike force so far.
Yeah, really interesting. You did get me there. Khairul Amri and Noah Alam Shah for Tampines Rovers and all local strike force. All right, as we mentioned, Matches are being played behind closed doors, but that has not stopped the fans from congregating outside the Hougang Stadium, and Barbara caught up with a few of the Hougang Hools.
I have with me Sal from the Hougang Hooligans. How are you feeling today? Is it good to be back at home ground?
I'm feeling great. We are finally back in Hougang after 1 year away. I think it's exactly 562 days we are away. So right now, I feel happy to be back in Hougang, and hopefully one day after this issue finish, then after that we get to see the Hougang boys back into our home ground again.
That's amazing. It's really, really good to see the kind of support that you guys garner for the teams as well. But given that all the matches are now going to be played closed door, going forward, as their #1 fans, how are you going to show your support for them in the season?
Oh well, it's always possible. I mean, look at the Champions League in Europe, Dortmund and PSG. I saw that a lot of the fans are cheering outside. We are going to do the same thing also. Make noise for the team. Just make them think that this is the home ground for them, and they have the home ground advantage.
Oh, that's absolutely lovely to hear. Now, going forward into this season, or based on what you've seen so far, what are your thoughts on the Cheetahs?
Oh well, it's still early days. I mean, even though a majority of the teams, players are still around, but there are new players that still need to gel around. So hopefully, we'll see them fighting for the title, or maybe back to Champions League, or maybe go to AFC Cup next season. Hopefully.
Awesome. Well, I won't be seeing you guys in the stadium, but hopefully I'm going to keep an ear out and be able to hear you guys. Thank you so much for chatting with me.
Thank you.
And we'll see you soon.
Yes, thanks so much, Barbara. And me and Shuko, we were trying to figure out where the Hougang Hools will be watching the match from. Well, I think we have found where they are, and they have found their perfect spot to watch this match behind closed doors. Right behind us, they are congregating, perhaps not the same as the Gate 3 side where they usually congregate, but still a chance to watch their heroes in action. Great stuff by the Hougang Hools, supporting their team under any kind of circumstances. All right, so who will they be supporting today? Who will be their lineup? We'll get to that after this short break. to go until kickoff between Hougang United and Geylang International from Hougang Stadium. A reminder, it's been 536 days since they last played a match here at Hougang Stadium. So good for Hougang United to be back home, and this is how they line up for their first match back at Hougang Stadium in more than a year. And Anders Aplin and Shaul Anwar, former Geylang International players, now Hougang United, they both start against their former employers. Shuko, they have something to prove today, and it's good to show what they can do up against their former coach as well.
Yeah, I think they will definitely play their best. I think they won't think so much about playing their ex-team after all. They want to do their best. They want to progress their career. They want to make sure that people know them in the future for their next move, next season. We won't know. So I think they want to do their best, definitely.
A front line, it looks to be of Stipe Plazibat, Shawal Anwar, and Farhan Zulkifli. Maksat Jaki Baliev, their new signing at centre back, only fit enough for a start from the bench for Hougang United, although I do hear he might be introduced at some point in the match. So plenty of thought behind Clementio's starting 11. Barbara Latimer caught up with him for his thoughts ahead of this match.
I have with me Clement, the head coach for Hougang United. All right, so what are your thoughts being back at the stadium's first game back here?
Oh, it's great. It's been a year, and unfortunately, due to the virus, it has got to be locked out. So, yeah, we are happy about it. Coming back to where we all started, and looking forward to it.
And you've got a new Kazakhstan signing. What do you think he's going to bring to the table, especially in today's game?
For today's game, definitely he's sitting on a bench watching the game with us. It's just that we need him to be a little more game. I mean, he needs to be a little more fitter and knows how it's all going in our league. How it's not going to be an easy walk in, and him being young at 20 years old, he probably needs some experience as well. Yeah.
Awesome. So it's more of an observational role going on today. All right. And you mentioned that there's no one in the stadium, and obviously they're coming back to home ground to play. Do you think it's going to affect the boys at all?
Definitely not, because we have all been looking forward to coming back to play in Hougang Stadium, and this is a place where we know that we are comfortable with, and it's not artificial, and it's a cow grass in which we have been training, and hopefully we are definitely used to the pitch, and unlike artificial, which will be very hot, very bouncy, and it might be the same, but not as bad.
And what kind of response are you looking for after the defeat against Rangoon United?
Look, we can't dwell on what has happened. The milk has spilled. Yeah, okay, we need to move on. Then we need to have good characters, good mentality, and to move on and say, hey, it's done with. Yeah. What's more important is the mistakes we made, and to learn from it, and that's more important, and character to say, okay, come on, let's go, and it's a totally different match altogether.
Wonderful, wise words from the head coach. Thank you so much for that. We look forward to seeing the guys play.
As they have invested heavily in the off-season, Hougang United, and on paper, do they have one of the strongest squads, not just first 11s, but squads in the league?
I believe so, because just now while I was watching them warming up, I'm surprised that some players like Afiq is not starting. So I think they invested heavily on local players and as well as foreign players.
On Geylang International, Matno Ali, well, he has faith in the saying, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Unchanged in the side that won 4-0 against the Young Lions on Wednesday. And of course, that all-local strike force of Van Huizen, Khairul Nizam and Iqbal Hussein, and of course Tatsuma Yoshida, Singapore national team coach, here in attendance, a chance for them to prove and show what the national team coach can expect from them this season.
Yeah, of course. I think most of the players, I think all they want is to be in the national team at one point in their career. So I think with or without the national coach presence, I'm sure as a player you want to play your best. So I hope they give their best every match, and hope that they get called up one day.
Harith Kanadi has been fantastic at left back for Geylang International, and another opportunity to impress the Singapore national team head coach, and of course Barry Maguire back with the Eagles. We saw him appear against the Young Lions, but what does he provide for Geylang International, the guy in central midfield, just making things work for the Eagles?
Well, it seems like when they played with Young Lions and he's back playing, it looks like he is the main man, like a backbone for the team. So I think his presence will give a lot of confidence boost to the other teammates playing around him.
Linados and Tashiev, an option off the bench, as well as Amy Reka for Matno Ali should he require. All right, Barbara is back and she is with Matno Ali, the Geylang International head coach.
Head coach of Geylang International, Noor Ali, how are you feeling today?
Oh, feeling good. Weather is very hot, but I think feeling confident with the team for today's game.
Speaking of, you guys came away with the win on Wednesday. How do you think that's going to affect today's match?
I think he has bring a lot of confidence in the team, a lot of motivation after a good win against Young Lions. But it's going to be a very different opponent. We have Hougang United today. They are a quality side. So, but it's good to see that the team morale is up and the confidence of some players is getting better. So we are looking for a good game today.
Wonderful. Now, Iqbal is going up against his former side. Are we expecting to see a big performance from him today?
I told Iqbal in the dressing room, just stay cool, just play your normal game, you don't have to prove anybody wrong, if you're a good player, you're a good player, So I know it's a bit sentiments because he has been with the club for so long, and I think Hougang has treated him well throughout his playing careers in Hougang. But at this point in time, he has a job to do at Geylang, so hopefully he will turn out good for us today. Yeah.
So both Geylang and Hougang, they have the biggest supporters in the fan base when it comes to matches. We've always got the fans coming down, especially, today's going to be an empty stadium. It's the second match that we're playing with closed doors. Do you think that this is going to affect how things go on the pitch?
I think it's just going to be a bit more quiet only, but I think, of course, definitely we're going to miss the Hougang Wolves and, Ultra Eagles cheering up both teams today in the stands. But I think I see in the Strait Times, the only thing that is an advantage because the players can hear the instructions of the coach is clearer, for today's game. But I think it won't affect much of the game. I think the boys are more motivated. I think Hougang want to get their first win and we want to continue on our winning streak.
Awesome. Well, we look forward to seeing the guys play. It's nice to see that you've always thought that there's a silver lining. Thank you for that, and throwing back to Duncan.
Thanks so much, Barbara. And Noor Ali does seem to be in a much better mood, especially since comparing to that defeat against Albirex Niigata. We were there. He does have faith in his team, and obviously it's almost similar to the squad that he had last season. I think within the team, they are saying top 3 finish this season. Possibility?
Well, it depends on the availability of the players, injuries, and I hope that, of course, I want to see Geylang doing well because they have a very good history back in the 90s. So I hope that, if not top 3, maybe mid-table in the table after season will be good.
A player that could dampen Matno Ali's mood today is, of course, a player from Hougang United, their number 9, Stipe Plazibat, and he is our man to watch today. Played the majority of last season down the right, now back up top, and he's banging in the goals. Top scorer in the league, 3 goals, a hat-trick against Young Lions, and he's been doing it in the AFC Cup as well. How good is he, Shuko?
Well, it looked like he's technically good. I think he's a goal machine. I think before he played for Hougang, I think he played for an overseas club, even with Home United before this. So I think he's a natural all-out striker, and I think he loves to score goals.
Does it then make it a little bit more puzzling that he played the majority of last season down the right?
Well, I think as a player, as a modern football, in the modern football, you need to adapt to position that given to you during games. So I think he has been good enough to play down the right and been adapting well. Of course, he would love to play as a striker, but I think if you need to be played in any other position, I'm sure you give your best.
We spoke about Luis Jr. yesterday for Tanjong Pagar United, almost similar in types of that he can just change the game by himself, just a moment of magic. He's good from set pieces as well. So always an option from set pieces, from inside the area. Also likes to take shots from outside the area. So he's a very tricky customer to handle.
Well, I think for Stipe Plaziba, I think he is already here in Singapore playing for the league for a few seasons. So I think he has adapted to the players and to the opponents that he has faced. Unlike Luis Jr., it's his first season here. So probably that's why you see the difference.
You got your score line prediction right yesterday, but you didn't get it right for the right team. What do you expect to see today? Hougang United back at home. Are they going to try and make it special?
Today, I'm not going to go with my gut feeling. I'm really going to go based on how the lineup, the warming up. So I think today both teams are capable of scoring goals because they have very good strikers. So I think it's going to be a close match. I'm going to go with Hougang winning 3-2.
So far, Shuko has not predicted any draws. He's always gone for a win. So you're going to say Hougang United today for the win. A great homecoming for them. Over 500 days since they last played here, and they are trying to make it happen today against Geylang International. Kickoff coming up very, very shortly, and you'll be joined by the magical voice of Patrick Kinghorn.
Always affable. Clement Teo, he's a tough taskmaster, but he's always there for a smile if you're in the media and to tell you what he thinks. Aurelio Vidmar, of course, now in charge of the Lion City Sailors. He was very welcoming in their first game of the season in that 2-2 draw against 1-1 draw, I should say, against Tanjung Pagar United. And the list goes on because you've got Gavin Lee, a real bright young Singaporean talent, coaching Tampines Rovers. Right, so Farhad Mohammed, referee of the year in 2019. Let's hope he has a close game here and a good game as Barry Maguire for Geylang gets us ready to start. Just waiting for the clock to tick round to 5:30 in the afternoon local time. These two teams played 3 times in the league last season, 17 goals in those 3 games. The last time they met was back in September, a 4-4 draw when Geylang raced out to a 3-0 lead. A hat-trick in that one for a man who's suspended today. That's a big blow for Geylang. Remember those red cards for Fariz and Sharin against Alborex. That means they're serving the second of their 2-game bans in this matchup. But they were missing for the Young Lions match, and it didn't really stop Geylang there, did it? And early signs that all-Singaporean strike force that Duncan and Shukla were talking about of Khairul and Iqbal could prove really troublesome for a Hougang defence that has not kept a clean sheet all season. They'll be looking to try and put that right today. So the stats promise goals. I wonder if the pace of the game will be up to snuff. You have to say the 2 games yesterday with that behind closed doors feel to them. Certainly with Tampines Rovers, that game was down to walking pace at times. I think it's far more competitive here. Certainly, we expect more goals to be scored. Well, we are past 5:30 in the afternoon, so I'm not sure what we're waiting for here. Referee's waiting from the signal from the match commissioner. I can see actually that they're fixing the nets. Our cameramen doing a great job of picking that up, just fixing something in Zainul's netting. So after a very, very brief delay, we are set for the 3rd game of this Singapore Premier League weekend, live on the One Play Sports Network and Singtel and StarHub across Singapore as well. Behind closed doors, but the Hougang Hools are still making their voices heard, and away we go. It's Geylang in the green and white, playing from left to right. Hougang in the orange and black from right to left, and straight away work to do for Darren Tate. And Hougang come up with a steal. It's good hustle early on from Aminanthan Kumar, and just goes to show how far Hougang have come. That in that training squad before the World Cup qualifiers were postponed, that 25-man Singapore national training squad, there were 8 Hougang players in that squad, 8 from the Lion City Sailors, by far the clubs that provided the most. Nazrul, Anders Aplin, Vestering, Afiq, Aminanthan, Farhan, Sahil and Shawal Anwar. Shamalara, of course, lining up against his former club today. An early chance for Hougang to make something happen from the corner. Jordan Vestering, the delivery is decent, gets back to the edge of the area, and Hougang will try and lift it in again, and Vestering might pick this up. Jordan Vestering headed into the danger area, and it's away by Ichikawa. And it will be another corner. So 2 corners in quick succession. For the red-hot favourites here. Hougang United looking to go top of the Singapore Premier League tonight. Vestering's delivery is a good one. There's all kinds of hugging and pushing in the penalty area. But the ball is claimed by Zainul. And they'll be able to clear. Firdaus Kazman. One of the 4 Geylang players in that international training squad I was mentioned. Here's the man of the moment, Stipe Plazabat, offside though. And he'll give it up. Must also mention though, Charlie Matchell today for Hougang. He's out with an ankle injury, I'm told. He is here, watching his teammates on. Just catching up with Zach Anderson, the giant centre-back, the man with the shortest shorts in the Singapore Premier League. Before the match, he was doing his yoga exercise, as so many of the players do nowadays. Very nice chap, enjoying his time, he was telling me, living in Singapore, which is great to see. Got a couple of big Australian names to look out for in the league this season. Zach Anderson here, and of course, Andy Pangeli of the Lion City Sailors, who made a goal-scoring start to his life in Singapore in that 1-1 draw against Tanjung Pagar United, as Zach Anderson clears that out, and Geylang will be able to try and activate their first forward foray. Great to hear. I don't know if you're picking it up, watching it at home. You can watch it around the world, of course, on the One Play Sports Network and in Singapore on Singtel and StarHub. Or you can hear, even though they're on the other side, not even in the ground, they're on the other side of the road almost, the Halls. You can still hear them here. And you heard Barbara catching up with some of them before the match. They're determined to still make the boys in orange and black believe this is a home fixture for them. There's a decision going the way of Geylang International, and we got a man down over on that far side very early on. It's incredible, isn't it? When you think around the world and across Asia, usually how many matches we played on a Sunday afternoon. There's still a few going on in different parts of the world, but they're far fewer than you'd usually expect. And it's great that the FAS, as it stands, and it could still change, of course, have decided to go ahead behind closed doors. That's nice work from Stipe Plazabat. Fine support over on that left-hand side with Nikesh. Nikesh trying to get it into the danger area. Headed away by Geylang. But it's straight back to Hougang, who come again with Vestering. And that shot, if you can class it as that, goes through harmlessly to Zainul. That's a miscontrol from Noor Arif. And Vestering, who does so much work, almost playing in a wing-back role at times, Vestering. And I'll let that go out for another throw. So, cagey early on. And I don't know whether it's just me and the feeling of having no fans actually in the ground, despite the noise you're hearing from the halls outside the ground, whether the intensity levels of any players, I think in any league, drop. It's almost inevitable, isn't it? As Nazrul gets it up, and once more, game becoming a little bit stop-start as Harith Kanadi, one of the 4 Geylang players in that squad, called up by Tatsuma Yoshida, the Singapore national manager, for those training camps before the World Cup qualifiers were postponed. Van Heusen, Ferdaus and Fariz, the other 3. It's a free kick though to Hougang. Dropping deep, Stipe Plazamat to try and affect it, and they've come up with a little bit of a steal there, Geylang International, but they can't win the throw to back it up. Here's some space to operate in the middle of the park for Animantham Kumar. And it's out for a goal kick. Well, things changing all the time, but as it stands, we're scheduled to be back at our Tampines hub on Wednesday to bring you arguably the game of the season so far. Tampines Rovers against the Lion City Sailors. That's scheduled for Wednesday, 7:45 kickoff. We'll be on air before that with the Duncan Elias and Barbara Latimer pre-show. I have to check if Barbara's with us on Wednesday. Actually, I'm certain Duncan is. Stipe Plazabat is offside again. Flag is up. In fact, Barbara's behind me. I can just check. Barbara, are you with us on Wednesday at our Tampines hub? Yes, she is. That's good news. Fans of Babs Latimer rejoice across Singapore. It'll be Barbara Latimer with us on Wednesday at our Tampines hub, and that's certainly a date for the diary. Let's all hope that the Singapore Premier League and the FAS keep up with this closed-door policy, because ultimately there ain't that much football to watch on the pops at the moment, and we're blessed that Singapore is still giving us some live on Singtel and StarHub. Ichikawa gets it to Harith Kanadi, who goes long. Very little ball service for Iqbal and Karo Nizam so far. I've hardly seen them touch the ball, the pair of them. Stipe Plazabat, referee's going to go back for that foul. On Animanthan Kumar. He's got a great physique, hasn't he, Animanthan Kumar? Looks like a proper footballer. Played in by Fabian Kwok, headed away by Darren Tay. Again headed back in. A little bit aimless at the moment, but he's given a lot of time there. Huge amount of time for Shaul Anwar to bring that down against his former side. And now there's work to do over on that far side for Van Heusen. They're just starting to dominate possession now, Hougang, and they'll win another cheap free kick. Pinged for the foul is Shaul Anwar. It's his first telling contribution to this game. They play it quick, decide not to bomb it into the area. And Emanthan Kumar, Vestering. Didn't see much of Barry Maguire either. Barry Maguire so influential in that game against Young Lions. Remember, he missed the match against Albirex Niigata with work visa issues. There's Zach Anderson. Can spot him a mile away with those hot pants shorts he wears. Good ball into the box, but it's over the head of Farhan Zulkifli. And he won't be able to get to that, and Geylang will get the throw. 8.5 in, it's Hougang 0, Geylang International 0. Maguire hustles well, wins a free kick and sends a Hougang player tumbling as well for good measure. It's going to be an interesting matchup, isn't it? In the middle of the park between Fabian Kwok and Barry Maguire. No shot on goal from Stipe Plazabat so far. The only man to score a hat-trick in the Singapore Premier League this season. He did that against the Young Lions in their first game of the campaign. Jordan Webb probably should have got one yesterday in hindsight. I'll be disappointed he didn't. Had an opportunity right at the death to get the match ball. Couldn't take it. There's no drama for Tampines Rovers, though. They managed to pick up the 3 points there with a minimum of fuss against Tanjung Pagar, who couldn't repeat their heroics that they pulled out against the Lion City Sailors on match night 1. So Hougang starting to set up shop in the Geylang half of the field. Vestering with the throw. Stipe Plazabat's going to have to move a little. Not the best ball back from Plazabat. And that's out for another Hougang throw. And Emanthan Kumar leaves it for Vestering again, but it's very compact, isn't it? Geylang not making the mistake of thinking that this will be as easy as the game against the Young Lions. They're trying to play nice and compact here, but they've given away another free kick, and I'll be amazed if this one isn't served up into the area. And I could already see the giant figure of Zachary Anderson making his way into the penalty area. Anders Aplin is going in there as well, and Jordan Vestering looks to be the man charged with out-swinging this one in. High defensive line put up by Geylang here. Are they going to bother with a wall? Looks like a token wall's going to be made by Harith and Christopher Van Heusen. What's Vestering's delivery like? Vestering headed on by Anders Aplin, himself a former Geylang man, of course. Both he and Shaul Anwar more familiar to regular viewers of the Singapore Premier League in green and white than orange and black. Here's something for Khairul Nizam to chase. Khairul Nizam, can he keep this in? Where's Iqbal supporting him? Didn't get there quickly enough, Iqbal. I think he thought it was a lost cause. Khairul Nizam did well. Ichikawa chested down by Fabian Kwok. And Emanthan. And as Aplin getting it to Vestering. And the throw goes the way of Hougang. But we're 12 minutes in and nothing really meaningful for either keeper to do so far. And in fact, I think Khairuddin's yet to touch the ball, unless I'm mistaken. Vestering looking for Stipe Plazabat. Throw doesn't go far enough, no. Darren Tay able to deal. But they've given it up to Nikesh. And Hougang can come again. It's all Hougang, isn't it? Nasrul. Well, this is almost at these early stages reminiscent of the Tampines Tanjung Pagar game, isn't it? Where Tampines were monopolising possession but just not doing anything incisive in the final third. But the pressure will eventually tell. And this is a very different pace to the game that Hougang endured in midweek on Tuesday in the AFC Cup when they lost 1-0 to Yangon. They were under the pump there the entire game. before their hearts were broken with a late goal from Yangon. They currently sit third in Group F with a lot of work on to qualify with their 3 remaining games. 2 at home, to be fair, against Yangon, against Lao Toyota, who they beat away from home 3-1 in their first AFC Cup game of the season before they finished with the hardest game of all away at Ho Chi Minh. Ho Chi Minh, who were 3-0 up in quick time when they played Hougang in Singapore before 2 late Stipe Plazabat goals nearly salvaged the situation, but it wasn't to be. Chance for Geylang from a set piece. Ichikawa to launch this in. Ichikawa eventually combines to, well, surely it's a corner. Yes, it is a corner. Not sure the assistant referee was convinced, but this is what they've got to do, Geylang. Make set pieces count. Ichikawa was a nuisance, and Kawa Nizam managed to win the corner off the back of Vestering, I think it was. So, first corner for Geylang to test a Hougang team that haven't kept a clean sheet through a league match, 3 AFC Cup games, and the Community Shield, in which they were beaten by Tampines by 3-0. The delivery has to be good from Van Heusen here. He helped win the corner. Can he now capitalise? Ichikawa's up for it. Plenty of green shirts committed to the area. Well, that's a waste. Almost out on the full there, and it's a goal kick. Well, bearing in mind the 2 games yesterday were expected to be comfortable victories for the teams who did indeed go on and win. Only 2 goals in each, and I think most people would have thought there'd have been at least 3 in those matches. So in a game like today, similar situation. Remember, 17 goals between these 2 teams in 3 meetings last season, including that remarkable 4-4 draw the last time they met in September. But no indication so far we're going to get a repeat of the 8 goals scored in that one. It remains scoreless as coughing up the throw-in for Geylang, Farhan Zulkifli. The players' defence as well. It's very, very hot here in Singapore today. So we're coming up to 5:45 local time. As Barry Maguire tries to play through Iqbal Hussain. Just quite couldn't get there, but they can come again. Well worked by Ferdows Kazman. And that's a push in the back. That'll be a free kick to Geylang as Darren Tay goes sprawling. Now, I fancy they might try and throw this into the mixer again, because they had some success and won a corner from the last one. No complaints. That was definitely a foul on Darren Tay. And it will be from this right-hand side. Christopher Van Heusen to try and presumably link up with Barry Maguire or Ichikawa again. Runners galore as they can try and swing this in from the left footer. Too close to the keeper. He nearly catches him out! And he has caught him out! Well, he's not even celebrating. Christopher Van Heusen, 10 assists last season in the Singapore Premier League, and he's got a goal. But Hougang once more won't keep a clean sheet, and Kai Rudin will be having nightmares tonight. Christopher Van Heusen not even celebrating that goal. The keeper's had an absolute shocker. The skipper of Hougang, Kai Rulin, with a catastrophic concession of a goal, and Hougang will have to come from behind. Remember, they came from 3-0 down to draw 4-4 the last time these teams met in the SPL, but that wasn't the start that we were predicting. 16 minutes in, and Van Heusen's speculative free kick, I don't even think he was going for the shot, if truth be told. I think that's why he didn't celebrate, has given Geylang International the lead. The Eagles beating the Cheetahs as it stands, and the Halls are silenced over on that far side. Well, a little bit of a breeze was picking up just before kickoff, but I can look out and you can see the trees in your shot. They're not exactly swaying from side to side, but don't know whether it caught a stray gust of wind or whether Kairouni just got his angles and his distances wrong. But it was telling for me that Christopher Van Heusen did not celebrate that strike. I think he thought it was a fluke. But again, if you get those set pieces, you get the ball into the danger area, things can happen. Back to Zainal, who's seen his opposite keeper make an absolute hash to give us our first goal, and it's given Geylang a bit of spring in their step here, and Hougang all of a sudden, remember they had that tough trip Tiang gone in midweek, 90 minutes when they were under the rack for the duration before succumbing to a 1-0 defeat. They just can't keep a clean sheet, and going back to Duncan and Shukel's discussion as to whether they would be title contenders, they surely won't be able to be title contenders unless they sharpen up the defences. Iqbal Hussain throws the ball down that left-hand side, and it's the goal scorer, Christopher Van Heusen, chasing it down. Well, there was a goalkeeping error from the Young Lions yesterday that led to one of the goals, and there was a goalkeeping error from Kenji that led to Tampines opener for Jordan Webb as well. And there's another goalkeeping error that's led to the opening goal in this one. It's not been a good weekend for goalkeepers, and remember, we had goalkeepers as man of the match through the first couple of match weeks in the Singapore Premier League. Kenji himself was man of the match for the Tanjung Pagar United Albirex Nagata game. He certainly wasn't man of the match yesterday, and you can bet your bottom dollar Kai Rudin won't be man of the match today after that. And Geylang International, buoyed by that goal, have found some confidence. Brandon Maguire, there was a tug on the shirt there. That'll be another free kick. Now, all eyes on Kai Rudin again here. Now, it's not the right side for Van Heusen's left foot. And he's staying firmly on his line this time, Kai Rudin. Have a look at him. Good delivery. And headed behind for a corner. And that was probably a header that needed to be made by Vestering. It's interesting, isn't it? Kai Rudin was absolutely, if you look at the replay there, was rooted to the spot. And it was Van Heusen again that drifted it in. To the corner, Van Heusen, the man of the moment, delivers it in, headed away by Stipe Plazabat, who's took a bang on the head for his troubles. And he might need attention here. It's a head injury, so the referee will stop the game. And if you are just joining us, a warm welcome to Singapore Premier League action this Sunday, one of the few professional leagues around the world that's open for business, certainly in the top flight. If you're watching on the One Play network across the world, you are very welcome. And if you are watching in Singapore on the Singtel and StarHub channels and platforms, you are also very welcome as well, as Zach Anderson takes a drink. And this is almost being used now, as we've seen a couple of times already this season, as an unofficial drinks break, and it's coming almost midway through the first half. Well, while we break off here, let's have another look at this goal if we can, as Clement Teo looks on a little bit concerned, because the key here is Kai Rudin starting maybe in the incorrect position. Van Heusen, he didn't celebrate after scoring this goal. Looks like Stipe Plazabat's going to be okay, which is good. But have a look at this. Van Heusen, he's just drifting it in. It's not a shot, and Kai Rudin's just got his angles badly wrong. It's a huge goalkeeping blunder, this. But Van Heusen, that's what I mean from those set pieces. Too many teams playing it short, trying to be cute. You get it into the penalty area, try and cause uncertainty in the defence, and you can get positive outcomes, as Geylang International did there. It's a bit strong to call it an own goal, because I think Kai Rudin got a touch on it. I don't think you can call it an own goal, because it was goal bound by Van Heusen, but he wasn't, I don't think, trying to score from that. And the lack of celebration backs that up. We'll get the thoughts of Duncan and Shukel in that half-time show that's to come. Shukel will be the man winning. I wonder if he'll think that Van Heusen meant it. Foul on Harith Kanadi. As we are now going to deal with another stoppage, as Harith has luckily got up and allowed us to continue. Here's Ichikawa, Barry Maguire. Oh, he's been out-muscled there, Barry Maguire, by Anumanthan. And Hougang can come again midway through this first half. Hougang 0, Geylang International 1. A Van Heusen free kick dealt with horribly by Kai Rulin. The defensive woes for the Cheetahs continue. Still no clean sheet for them this season. And that's something they're clearly going to have to get right before they can start thinking of silverware. Remember that Community Shield game against Tampines, remarkable when you think how far they come from in 2 years. The first time they've been in a final of any description. Stipe Plazabat rested for that, but there they are, the Hougang Hawks. They've got their Stipe Plazabat flag up there, and they'll be keeping the faith. They'll be there right the way through to the final whistle. Make absolutely no mistake about that. Plazabat's had very little service to work with, and I think you've got to give some credit here at this stage to Noor Ali as well, because the game plan for Geylang has worked, and they've really not let Hougang dominate them through the final third, and it's worrying times for Clemencio. So much positivity about Hougang, but I have to say the defending from the keeper there and that free kick just not up to snuff. And Geylang International, that was too heavy a touch from Noor Arif. And the late challenge Darren Tay involved will lead to a free kick. Hougang, remember, are used to being behind this season already in the AFC Cup, 3-0 down to Ho Chi Minh before they got it back to 3-2. Question is, how much has that exertion of the 1-0 under the hammer for the whole 90 minutes game against Yangon on Tuesday night, how much is that going to take out of them in the second half as Plazabat gets the ball from Vestering? But the foul, is that a foul throw, or is he given the throw the other way? I think he's just given the throw the other way. And the fourth official's in deep conversation with Noor Ali about that. Stakes are high here, folks. It might only be the early part of the season. Remember, it's Geylang's third game, and they can join Tampines at the top on 6 points. Would need a couple of goal victory to get them to the top on goal difference. Any kind of win for Hougang would take them top, but Geylang International's goal difference is currently -1. So if they win 2-0, they will go top. Tampines and Lion City Sailors meet in the scheduled match at the moment for Wednesday. Here they come again, having some joy down this left-hand side, aren't there? And Christopher Van Heusen gets a good delivery in, headed away well. But they've not cleared it convincingly, and it's come to Barry Maguire. Now he knows how to score from this kind of range. Barry Maguire! And he's furious with himself. He thinks he should have done better. Well, it wouldn't have been as spectacular as his goal of the season from last campaign, but Barry Maguire, you give him space on that left foot in that kind of area. Look at the space he's got here. His first touch is a good one. He takes it under Zaplin from the game, but he couldn't register the shot on target. And bearing in mind what they've seen from Kai Rulin already, you'd fancy they'll be shooting from range at every opportunity now. Unable to bring that down for Geylang is Ferdaus Kasman. Well, the first 15 minutes were all about Hougang dominating possession and not making much happen in the final third. It's the complete opposite since then. It's Hougang who seem to be doing the lion's share of the defending, with Geylang pressing. That's a back flick to an orange shirt from a green one. Ball comes in looking for Farhan Zulkifli. Ichikawa will try and tidy up under the attentions of Nikesh. Oh, Iqbal Hussein's been bullied out of that. He got away with one there. It's found its way to Barry Maguire, and now Iqbal at the end of the field. He's more comfortable in going forward, wins a free kick. The foul by Animadhan Kumar. Referee, I think, wants that back inside the half, which will mean Josh Pereira will leave it to Barry Maguire. The Dutch-Irish midfield maestro for Geylang, how pleased they are from their perspective. It didn't work out for him as Khairul Nizam is nearly through on goal. Didn't work out for Barry Maguire. He did leave in the close season to try his luck elsewhere, but he ended up coming back, and the late nature of his return to Singapore meant his employment pass wasn't secured in time to play in that Albrecht's Nagata thumping when they lost 4-0 and ended with 9 men, but he was a big influence in the win against the Young Lions as Stipe Plazabat goes down. Nothing doing on the free kick front there, and Plazabat doesn't like the decision. And there's space again for Barry Maguire to work with. Hougang need to butt their ideas up here. Maguire's got Cairo Nizam and Iqbal Hussain in front. They've got Van Heusen over on that far side. They stick to this right-hand area of the field, and Barry Maguire gets it again. He's starting to pull strings in midfield, Barry Maguire. Cairo Nizam. And looking to buy a free kick there was Firdaus Kazman. And the referee not interested in letting him purchase one. So it'll be Vestering with the throw. Stipe Plazabat. Oh, his arm's gone out there. Referee plays on, and to his credit, there was no complaining from Josh Pereira, but it's led to Hougang launching what they hope will be a promising attack that needs Stipe Plazabat to get back in the danger area, though, having had to drop back to create that. It's not happened. Well, they're coming again here. And Geylang International have got options to the left and to the right. They found Vestering screaming for it on the far side. It's Barry Maguire, and Barry Maguire will get to this. There's nobody near him. Flag stays down. Barry Maguire, no one can apply the finishing touch. Should have been 2-0, really. Hougang all over the place at the back. Geylang with all the time in the world. They cannot keep giving Barry Maguire that much time and space. Meanwhile, up the other end, it's starting to go end-to-end now. Farhan Kifli to the edge of the area. Farhan Kifli, can he get the shot away? He goes down! Wanted a penalty! Nothing doing, and Clement Teo and the bench of Hougang are furious! Well, if he doesn't give the penalty, surely he's going to book him for a dive there. Let's have a look at this. Farhan Kifli with 2 Geylang International players in attendance. Well, there was a lunge, wasn't there? There was definitely a lunge from Josh Pereira. But if he doesn't give the penalty, he's got to give the card for a dive. Big call made by the 2019 Singapore Premier League referee of the season last year, Farhad Mohammed. Let us know your thoughts if you're watching on the One Play Facebook pages. Do you call penalty or not there? Anumanthan, is this woken up Hougang though? Anumanthan's now got space. This game is really starting to open up half an hour in. Cross comes in, Stipe Plazabat plays it back to Anumanthan. Anumanthan, can he get the shot away? It's blocked by the backside of Josh Pereira. Well, there's certainly no walking pace here. We had the walking pace yesterday at times at our Tampines hub. But at Hougang in the first game at this famous old stadium in 563 days, get the feeling there's going to be more twists and turns to come. Don't go anywhere. Watching live Singapore Premier League coverage as we come up to 6 p.m. local time here in Singapore. Wherever you're watching around the world, the Singapore Premier League for now is open for business behind closed doors, and you're watching last season's third-place team, Hougang, who went from 9th and wooden spoonist in 2018 to 3rd in qualification for the AFC Cup in 2019 against a Geylang team who were 5th and the 3rd best Singapore team in the division last season, looking themselves to replicate what Hougang have done and qualify for continental competition in 2021. They're going to need to come from behind here, Hougang, and Farhan Kifli, having not won that penalty, is right in the thick of it. Fabian Kwok sends a green shirt tumbling. No free kick from the referee. And already you have to start thinking what options they've got on the bench, Hougang. And the good news for them is they have got options. Sahil Suhaimi, Shafiq Ghani. 8 goals last season for Shafiq Ghani. He'll definitely be called upon, I fancy, if the scoreline stays this way. They've got Afiq Noor, Hafiz Abu Sijed as well. They've got a host of talent on the bench. For Geylang, of course, they can call on Ami Recha. They've got Kyrgyzstan youngster as well, Kamaluddin Tashiev, as well as their Greek import, Panagiotis Linardos on the bench, and Danish as well. So both teams have got healthy substitutes benches, but Christopher Van Heusen on the ball now. It's his goal that separates the team. Van Heusen thought he was going to go for goal again then, but there's no green shirt, and it should have been easy enough for Vestering to clear. Now Fabian Kwok. And now there is plenty of space over on that far side. They're just inviting Hougang to run at them. They've kept that in well. Stipe Plazabat waits. Stipe Plazabat pulls back. and they telegraphed it. It was good work from Ichikawa. Even though he conceded the corner, he had to interject there, otherwise Placebat was going to have a shot on goal. You cannot lose Stipe Placebat in the penalty area like that. Good work from Shaolan while using his pace to great effect. Look at the movement from Stipe Placebat, and Ichikawa showing all his experience, the Geylang captain, to deal with the threat. Business picking up here. I fancy we may have another goal before half time, you know, as trotting over to take the corner is Jordan Vestering. Third corner of the game. For Hougang, and it'll be Vestering to take it with the in-swinger. Keeper comes, doesn't get there. Zainal all at sea, but no orange shirt could get the killer touch with the goalkeeper committed elsewhere. Fabian Kwok will try and bring it back. Drifted over the top. Flag stays down here initially, but it goes up late against Stipe Placebat, who'd let the ball run away from him already. Ichikawa giving the assistant referee the thumbs up. He'll want plenty more of those decisions to go Geylang's way between now and the 90-minute mark. Another tight one. The Fishers have had to make some big calls in this first 45. I think Placebat would have been more angry if he'd have had a more pleasant first touch and smashed it into the back of the net and seen it disallowed. Zainal's clearance. Straight to Fabian Kwok. But the throw-in goes the way of Geylang. Well, I don't think we're going to see a repeat of the 4-4 match, but surely that's not the end of the scoring. If you are just joining us, a 16th minute speculative free kick, and that's the term for it, from Christopher Van Heusen, misjudged by Khairulin, and drifted over the Hougang keeper and into the back of the net. Darren Tay, oh, that's good work from the centre-back of Geylang, Darren Tay. Maguire in at close quarters, tries to get it to Karo Nizam, but Animanthan Kumar is there. A real physical force in the middle of the park, Animanthan Kumar. As the Hawks strike up again, but it's Geylang coming forward with Noor Arif. Ferdows Kasman as Geylang. This was the kind of football that Hougang were playing through the first quarter of an hour. Now Geylang keeping the ball effectively. Darren Tay, will he have a run? Well, he had a dart at Vestering, but Vestering managed to get it out for the throw. Less than 10 to go to half-time. Hougang 0, Geylang International 1. And as it stands, Geylang will be joining Tampines at the top of the table tonight. At the end of the weekend, they'll be the only two teams with 6 points. Whoever wins here will join Tampines at the top. Geylang need to win by 2 goals or more to go top. Any kind of victory for Hougang will see them at the summit. So, of course, if you're a Tampines Rovers fan, you'll be wanting this game to end as a draw. That's what they'll be funking for. Barry Maguire's made it darting run, but they've gone backwards instead of forwards and alive to the threat. Reacting well was Sharal Anwar, who has looked lively down that right-hand side, but Stipe Placebat simply not seen enough of the ball to make a difference, and when he has been involved, he's had to drop very, very deep indeed. And of course the problem with that is it means he's not in the penalty area to try and apply the finishing touches to whatever he creates. As Ishikawa finds Ferdows Kasman. Maguire wins the free kick. Stipe Placebat is not a happy camper out here so far this afternoon. And the referee wants a word with Stipe Placebat. I think this is his last warning before a card. Out of shot, the referee talking to Stipe Placebat. As Noor Ali, I think he's now staying to Stipe Placebat. Noor Ali's speaking to the fourth official, and he's saying that Stipe Placebat's using the leading arm, I think, and along with the back shot, I think he wants to see Stipe Placebat booked. He's not doing the unwritten rule of you can never brandish the imaginary card, but he's certainly asking the fourth official to keep an eye on Stipe Placebat. Ichikawa, Barry Maguire. Barry Maguire against Zach Anderson. There's a big boy matchup. Ichikawa, nice little dink over the top, and they're in business again down this left-hand side. It's played inside to Noor Arif. Noor Arif looks up, tries to switch it. Iqbal Hussain, oh, couldn't control it first time, I think he was entitled to try and bring that down. It wasn't easy, but he was never going to be able to keep that ball in once it ran past him. 7.5 to the break. Remember, Duncan Eliasson, Shukul with you for a half-time show. We'll hear from Barbara Latimer out and about as well. And they'll be with you as well at full-time for a full post-game show with post-match reaction from the movers and shakers in this one. And at the moment, I don't know who I'd rather hear from first, Christopher Van Heusen or Kai Runan. I think I'd rather hear from the keeper, to be honest. I wonder if he'll front up with the media afterwards. I think he will. It's a good chap, Kai Runan. You've got to feel for him. That really is a shocking mistake that's led to the only goal here. Good work from Kyril Nizam. Darren Tate. Ferdows Kasman. Maguire. Geylang almost playing Hougang at their own match-up here. That's beautiful passing. Orchestrated by Maguire. Plays in Darren Tate with a cross. And that would have been a sensational score. Kyril Nizam was darting in. That would have been one of the goals of the season so far already finished. Barry Maguire putting the strings in midfield. Darren Tate finding space out wide. The cross was absolutely world-class. And I think for a minute I thought that Zachary Anderson had a little push on Kyril Nizam, but there was no reaction from Kyril. He just couldn't get there. That would have been some score. And it's not going right for Hougang. There's a ball in. Looking for Stipe Plazamanic Ichikawa. Managing to clear. Hougang have got 5 minutes and change to try and get this game level as they go to the sheds at half-time. And you have to say Ichikawa so far has been absolutely foot perfect for Geylang International, snuffing out all and any danger that comes the Geylang penalty area's way. Trying to hustle it. Anumanthan. Geylang successfully clear. Well, the first 50 minutes were all about Hougang dominating possession and Geylang showing nothing coming forward. The following half an hour, they've had their fleeting moments in the penalty area of Geylang, but for the most part, it's been about Geylang threatening Hougang's goal. A shot from Barry Maguire that wasn't a million miles away. That great cross from Darren Tate, which unfortunately for Geylang's point of view, Kyril Nizam couldn't get a touch to. And then, of course, prior to that, the Van Heusen free kick. Chance now as the runner came in. I think it was Fabian Kwok that was on the charge, but now Kyril Nizam needed to deal with that. That was a solid header from Anders Aplin, because if he doesn't get there, Kyril Nizam's one-on-one. And that's going to be a free kick to Hougang. Now, surely Hougang will just take a leaf out of Geylang's copybook here and get this into the danger area. Zach Anderson, all 6 foot plus of him, is coming in. Anders Aplin as well. He knows how to score with his head. And Zainul will be hoping he doesn't commit the same kind of clanger that Kai Rulin made 15 minutes into this game. 16 minutes technically it was. Vestering on his left foot, so he can't really swing this towards the goal. It's going to have to be an outswinger. Vestering, delivery is decent. Zach Anderson is up there, but so is Ichikawa. And then on the follow-through, that's high wide and not very handsome from Fabian Kwok. And the frustration as the ball's hoofed a million miles into the air from Vestering. Well, this is where coaches earn their money, isn't it? Clementio's got to take Hag into the break. They had that tough 90 minutes in Yangon in the week, losing 1-0. They're going to have to find energy reserves, and surely it won't be long before we see Shafiq Ghani. 8 goals last season. They need something different in the final third. They've not really been able to affect the game in that area of the park. Iqbal Hussain, Barry Maguire, and there's options out to the left and out to the right. And Van Heusen could be in business again here. Maguire charging into the area. Van Heusen tries to pick out Maguire, and that was good work from Anders Aplin to snuff out the threat. Up the other end now, and the flag stays down. But Farhan Zulkifli just couldn't take it in stride, and another opportunity goes begging as Josh Pereira, I think, scolds himself for letting that one get past him initially. Josh Pereira, to his credit, tracked back really well. I'm not entirely convinced that was a Hougang throw off the back of that, but Hougang have got the decision. But they've only got 2 minutes and probably the traditional 1 minute of time added on for stoppages. We had that one injury, didn't we, to Stipe Plazabat in the Hougang penalty area. Can't see it being much more than a minute, though. Lots of Geylang International substitutes warming up. Not many from Hougang. That will change soon, I'm sure. Plazabat. Stipe Plazabat gets it back to Zulkifli. Geylang very, very calm in possession, and they're almost goading Hougang into ill-disciplined fouls that Hougang are committing. And you can be sure Geylang will be in no hurry to take this. It looks like they've weathered not really a storm. They've just got through here and have managed to, against the odds, they didn't come into this game as favourites, lead Hougang at half-time. Remember, though, a word of caution. Geylang led Hougang 3-0 last season before it ended 4-all. So they know how to come from behind to get results against the Eagles. Now, there's a player down with another head injury, so that will stop. And there's a card, the first one of the match, coming out to Anders Aplin. So Anders Aplin picks up a yellow. Let's have a look at the replay here, because Cairo Nizam is down, holding the back of his neck. Now, we've seen Noor Ali speaking to the fourth official, saying that Stipe Plazabat's been leading with the arm. Let's have a look at this again. Cairo Nizam and Anders Aplin. Well, he's gone through the back of him, but that's one of those challenges, really. If you're the defender, you've got to commit to that. And if you make contact, unfortunately, it just comes with the territory. What this will probably do is maybe give us 2 minutes of time added on. Clement Teo is furious with the officiating team for that decision, and I have some sympathy with him there. What could he do, Anders Aplin? He was committed for the header and just went into the back of Cairo Nizam. That's the kind of challenge that if he misses the header, Anders Aplin, sometimes they win the free kick. It's just the way it works. Fourth official's getting his board ready to show us how much time will be added on, as the Halls continue to bang the drums. They're not at gate 3 playing their tunes today, but they'll continue getting behind the team. Leonard Coe, the team manager of Geylang, is in heated debate with the fourth official as well. Mohamed Hilmi Fouad, our fourth official today. What it has, though, ultimately, after all that, what it has done, as the board goes up to show just 1 minute of time added on, the final player this half is going to be Chris Van Heusen with another free kick in an almost identical position to where he scored after 16 minutes. This time, I think that's what he meant to do the first time, and the ball's gone through, the flag's up here. Referee hasn't seen it, the assistant referee's flag is up, and that will be an offside decision, I think. A very late call. Well, the irony there is Van Heusen was trying to do with that free kick that he scored from. What he actually did there was drift across in. That'll be that for the end of the first half. Zach Anderson is looking for options here. Hougang are not looking themselves at all. We know this is a team that's got goals in them, but they're going to have to go some to turn this match around. It's not been a 45 minutes to remember after 563 days back at the Hougang Stadium for the Cheetahs. Geylang have got more and more confident as the game's gone on, and they've looked the better side since they scored the goal. And here's Van Heusen again. Iqbal Hussein's darting into the area. Cairo Nizam there as well. Zach Anderson's header clear. Only as far as Harith Kanadi. And now Anders Aplin has to take evasive action, and that should be that for a first half that's gone against the form book to a certain extent. Hougang, with the trials of the AFC Cup behind them on Tuesday night, will have to come from behind at the break. They trail to a 16th minute Christopher Van Heusen free kick that Khairulin was completely stumped by. Questions to answer at the back once more for Hougang. They continue 7 games into the season to not be able to keep a clean sheet, and it's Geylang International who could be looking at their second consecutive win, if they can hang on in the second half, that will bring you live on the One Play Sports Network around the world and Singtel and StarHub in Singapore. Concern on the look of the Hougang Halls. We'll be back shortly with all the half-time reaction from Duncan the Liar Shuckle and Barbara Latimer out in the field as well. Stay with us right here, live from the Hougang Stadium. It's Singapore Premier League football, and at the break, it's Hougang 0, Geylang International 1.
Fahan left turn right. Joshua sticks the leg out. Penalty, yes or no? Don't say anything controversial.
Okay. Testing, yes.
Testing, 1 2 1 2.
testing, 1 2, testing, 1 2.
Not quite the homecoming Hougang United expected on their return to Hougang Stadium. The Cheetahs trailing the Eagles by 1-0, and what a goal it was by Christopher Van Huizen. Shugo Zailan has been watching the match with me, and what have you made about that first half?
Oh, I think the home team struggled a bit with their own pitch. I'm quite surprised by that. And although the goal came in early, I think both teams are trying to keep possession, trying to attack, build up. And I think it's a fair game so far.
Is it a testament to Matno Ali that the Eagles have played football on the ground? They haven't gone route one on a very tricky pitch. Hougang Stadium, not as it once was.
I think they are doing well so far, playing ball on the ground. I think they are keeping possession quite a lot and also creating a lot of chances with Barry stringing all those passes, passing, looking for Van Huizen. And I think they have been very successful in that aspect.
Have Hougang United been struggling with the movement of Maguire, Khairul Nizam, because they've been dropping in between the defense and midfield and no one has been picking them up?
Yeah, it looks like Hougang has not pressed enough in midfield area. So I think that's where Geylang is capitalizing. Attacking wise, I think Hougang is also trying to create chances, but it's too much of a predictable play, and they're pulling their triggers to take shot at goal.
They've been looking for Fahan down the left, for Shawal down the right. They have had the ball, both wingers. Stipe Plazibat, though, has been very quiet. Is that good work by Yuki Ichikawa at the back along with Joshua Pereira?
Well, I think it's partly due to Fahan Zulkifli and also on the right, Shawal Anwar. I think, like I said, their play has been quite predictable. So they have been closed down quite early so that they couldn't play a lot of ball to Stipe Plazibat.
Scrappy start to the game, but it came alive after 15 minutes. And when Christopher Van Huizen put the ball down, about 40 meters from goal, he was trying to send the ball into the area, didn't he? But, had a different effect, different result, and perhaps contender for goal of the season.
Well, straight away I'm reminded of Ronaldinho goal against England, where he took a free kick and the ball went straight into the goal. So straight away he flashed back to that situation. I think in every set pieces, I think coaches will always remind players to just send in the ball towards the goal frame, and sometimes he might get lucky.
No celebration by Van Huizen. Obviously, he was trying to put the ball into the area. Here's the pass angle. Khairul Hen, question marks.
I think decision making again. I think also partly maybe it's about the win. We are not sure about that, but he has to take responsibility for that definitely.
There's a chance for Maguire. Always dangerous outside the area. Of course, goal of the season winner. Just fires it over, but good build up by Geylang International.
Good build up, good definitely. He has been influential in the middle. And this is one of his tricky footwork. Good shot. He got to keep it low, but it's nice.
Yeah, of course. Thought he was going to hit it with his right foot for another goal of the season contender. But that fires over the bar. Doesn't trouble Khairul. Now this was a big flashpoint for Hougang United. Farhan, dangerous, cutting in left, then right. Joshua Pereira sticks a foot out. He goes down. Everyone was shouting penalty. Was it a penalty, Shuko?
In my opinion, it is a penalty because you can see there's definitely contact after the ball left his feet.
Well, if there is contact in the area under the spotlight of the referee, very difficult. Could have been given on any other day. This was a great build-up by Geylang International. A couple of passes before this. Great ball in by Darren Tay. Khairul Nizam couldn't put the finishing touches, but it was the build-up before that that was
Yes.
just amazing to watch under the tricky Hougang Stadium pitch. So testament to Geylang International, who have played really, really well in the first half. And Matno Ali must be really, really happy with his charges after the first 45 seconds. What will Clement Teo be saying to his side during halftime? There is Shafiq Ghani, there is Sahil Suhaimin to call upon.
Well, I think they'll be introduced later on in the game, but I still think they are putting a lot of movement forward. So I think they could wait for a little while and see how things goes, because I think if they are being patient enough, coming a lot of attacks from Farhan especially, I think they will get a goal.
Well, we'll see what happens in the second half. Barbara Latimer is on the ground and she's caught up with a veteran sports journalist here in Singapore. Kenneth Tan has covered the SPL for many, many years and he's giving his thoughts. He's standing by with Barbara Latimer.
I have with me Kenneth Tan, a freelance journalist. Now, Kenneth, you've been a journalist for SPL for a pretty long time. And you live in Hougang as well.
Yes.
So how does it feel to be back at the stadium after nearly 2 years?
Firstly, it's a great feeling to be back here because after all, this stadium is just 10 minutes away from my home. So I've been here. I watched since 2001 when the club was still Marine Castle United. It went through a lot of name changes and all. I've always been here. After all, it's like a neighborhood thing where I always walk here, and I like to watch matches here because there's always a good atmosphere, especially with the Hougang Hulls here. There's always a good atmosphere, and it's sad that today is closed door and they couldn't be in the stadium.
Now, speaking of closed door, has anything like this ever happened before, in all your time?
I don't recall anything like that. I think a few years ago we had haze, so it delayed the kickoff and it delayed during certain periods of the matches. But we don't see a total call off, no closed doors, nothing like this.
And for you as a freelance journalist, does this affect you in any way?
It doesn't affect my work, but it does affect my mood when I come to matches because especially today is when I knew it's Hougang versus Geylang. This is Ultra Eagles and Hougang Hulls. They are the two. Everyone know they are the two best set of fans in the league. So without them in the stadium, it's a bit awkward. But it's good. It's good we see them outside. They are still supporting from outside. Yeah.
I know we can definitely hear them, and of course we can hear the coaches and the players a lot more clearly now as well. But also I want to bring up. With this match so far, we've seen, Hougang was very dominant in the first 10 to 15 minutes. Geylang scored that first goal, and then the energy with them started to change a little bit. What do you think we're going to see going forward into this match?
I think Hougang, I'm not sure whether they are jaded from their AFC Cup exertions or what, but they just look like they can't get going. And Geylang being a no Ali team, they always play hard, aggressive. You can see Stipe Plazibat, this Hougang's danger man, he couldn't get a sniff. And I would just want to mention Joshua Pereira. He's playing at centre back for Geylang. We don't during his SPL career, we don't see him playing as a defender, but he has played so well. I think. There must be something that Noali has said to him or what. But I would believe Hougang will come back strongly in the second half. It has always been Hougang to come back strongly, and you can see they have some good patches of play, and I got a feeling they will come back in the second half. Although they won't win, I think it's going to be a 1-1 at full time.
Awesome. Well, I'm excited to see more great football. We've got the second half coming up very, very soon.
Welcome back live to the Hougang Stadium, and you can see straight away there's going to be a change here. Hougang have seen enough in terms of Clement Teo with the personnel he had on the field. Sahel Suhaimi about to come on. We'll confirm who he's replacing shortly. That's the tail of the tape. Geylang with more shots on goal than Hougang. Corner count, very little in it, and just that one yellow card shown just before half-time to Anders Aplin. So let's get back to this change then that's about to take place. And is Sahil Suhaimi the man to make a difference? He's coming on to replace Nikesh. So it's obviously, I think on the balance of it, maybe a marginally attacking move. But he has to change it, Clement Teo, because they're not making it happen in the final third at the moment. No change of personnel, no surprise for Geylang, though their substitutes were warming up quite vigorously at half-time. And look at that, he's not the skipper, Zach Anderson, but Zach Anderson, the Aussie centre-back, is the man that's trying to take charge here. Hyping up the Hougang boys, and we know they've got good second performances in them. Remember, 3-0 down to Ho Chi Minh. They came back to just lose that one narrowly. And last season, 3-0 down they were at one stage to Geylang, and they came back to draw that one 4 each. So, perceived wisdom, having seen these two share 17 goals between themselves in 3 matches last season, suggests that there'll be more goals to come in this second 45 minutes that you'll watch live with us here on the One Play Sports Network on Singtel and StarHub in Singapore. It's live Sunday afternoon, Singapore Premier League football behind closed doors due to COVID-19, but the Singapore Premier League still battling on as most of world football comes to a standstill. Hougang in the orange and black, playing from left to right in this second half. Geylang in the green and white, playing from right to left. And straight away it's launched forward by Nazrul. And it comes to Fabian Kwok, who with the outside of the boot only manages to find the head of Darren Tay of Geylang. Remember, they started the first half very much in control in terms of possession as Anders Aplin plays a little trick on Kairon Nizam there. Those were the two players that clashed in that incident before half-time that led to the game's only card. Get it back to Kai Rudin. He'll be on a mission, won't he, Kai Rudin, in this second half to make sure there are no mistakes after that Van Heusen free kick that somehow went over at him and into the net in that 16th minute. Here's Zach Anderson. Goes long, and it's come off of Harith Kanadi, I think, there. Anuman Than. And that's going to be a free kick against Fabian Kwok to Geylang International. I think from a Geylang point of view, remember they came into this game as big underdogs. They have to really hold on to this lead through the first 10 or 15 minutes. We saw, didn't we, in another game where the underdogs led. Balestier led Albrechts Nagar to 1-0 and 2-1 and couldn't hang on in that crazy game that had the half-hour stoppage for the floodlight failure. But Barry Maguire, what a difference he's made. Bearing in mind they're without Geylang, Faris, who scored a hat-trick when these teams last met, and Sharin after those red cards against Albrechts. They're without those two players for the second of their 2-game bans. But the big difference you have to really think is Barry Maguire, and obviously now Iqbal and Kairon Nizam being given their heads as a strike partnership up front. This is promising from Hougang, but again, they can't get it to Stipe Plazibat. Let's give Ichikawa some credit. He's had a really good game against Stipe Plazibat, and all of a sudden, Anders Aplin, they want a handball against Anders Aplin, and the referee looks across to his assistant. And the result is just a throw. The replay here will be interesting. Well, they were screaming straight away for a handball, I think, here. Anders Aplin with Iqbal Hussain. Well, I think it hit the upper part of his arm and his shoulder. I don't think the referee was ever going to give it, though. Well, very difficult to tell from that angle, but there was certainly a reaction straight away from Iqbal. And what it has done, it's given Geylang third prize in that beauty contest because they've got to throw it inside Hougang territory. Barry Maguire going through his magic box. Look at this from Barry Maguire, and he'll win a free kick. And again, they are very, very dangerous areas. They're conceding these free kicks, Hougang, particularly where Van Heusen seems to have his radar on tonight. Maguire twisting and turning, and eventually Anuman Than, that battle between those two has been fascinating all game, concedes a free kick. So Van Heusen, and this, with his right foot, he can swing in if he so desires. Swung it is. Header wasn't convincing, but it's got it out the area, and Anders Aplin's on the charge. Only one man up top, and that's Sahil. Anders Aplin waiting for Stipe Plazibat to join. Aplin's done well. Finds Sahil. Stipe Plazibat in the area. Herring down the area as well. On this near side is Shawalanwa. Shawalanwa into the area. And Geylang clear. Again, they just can't pick out Stipe Plazibat at the moment in those situations. He's onside here, if he can get it. Kaira Nizam, and he heads it back really well to Iqbal Hussain. Iqbal. Look at the work having to be done by Nazrul to get back and cover in the middle of your shot there. Nazrul. Good work. Van Heusen. Oh, my word! Oh, my word! I have seen it all now. Chris Van Heusen has scored twice, and Khairulin, well, his teammates are going over to console him. I mean, it's just bizarre. One calamity in the first half, an even worse calamity in the second, and Hougang now have to come from 2 down. What on earth has Christopher Van Heusen done to Khairulin in this game? It's unforgivable, quite frankly. You cannot have a goalkeeper for a team like Hougang with tightened aspirations conceding like this. It's schoolboy stuff from Hougang defensively. And Geylang International, remember, if they win by 2, they'll be top of the league tonight. Nobody saw this coming. Well, I must say, even at 1-0, I wasn't really looking at the league table hard and fast to check exactly what Geylang needed to be top. I didn't think they had it in them. Shows how much I know. Currently now with this 2-0 win, they would be +1 goal difference on 6 points. The same goal difference as Tampines, but crucially now, they've scored 5 goals to Tampanese's 3 this season. So if it stays like this, Geylang International, 5th last season, hammered 4-0 by Albirex in the first game of the campaign. It'll be Geylang who finish the 3rd round of matches at the top of the table. And a penny for the thought of Clement Teo here, because poor old Khairulin is the captain of the team, remember. Nobody likes to see another professional footballer suffering, but when you play in the big leagues with the glare of the television cameras on you, you have to deliver the goods, otherwise it'll haunt you for a very long time. And the 2 goals that Khairulin have conceded this afternoon will haunt him for a long, long time. Well, credit to the Hougang Halls. They're working harder than anyone by trying to keep the spirits of the players up. But just 4 minutes in to the second half, Christopher Van Heusen is on what would probably be the worst hat-trick ever scored in footballing history. He even manages to get a 3rd. To put it in context, he scored twice and they've gone for a long-range effort there from Iqbal that's out for a goal kick. He scored twice in a game that can take his team top of the table, and he's been too embarrassed to celebrate either of the goals. And now Khairulin's got Zach Anderson taking goal kicks. Oh my word, Anders Aplin's at it. Well, Hougang, head in the hands of the coaching staff, and clearly the AFC exertions, maybe you have to point to that. They were under huge pressure. Clement Teo, he has to make another change, surely. You've got to maybe even make a change defensively now. They were under the pump for the whole match of that 90 minutes against Yangon before they finally succumbed, only late on in the final 10 minutes to lose 1-0. But here, if they go, Barry Maguire having a poke, and it should have really dropped for Van Heusen. He had the hat-trick chance there. Well, we saw Jordan Webb get a brace yesterday. When we get a break in play, I'd like to see that second Van Heusen goal again. Was it a question of Khairulin just took his eye off the ball there, which you cannot do on a surface like this? The turf pitches in the Singapore Premier League, they're not exactly the grass courts at Wimbledon. You have to really follow it closely. Well, there's an injury here. While we have this injury, let's, if we can, look back at the 2 goals, because I don't think I've ever seen 2 goals like this scored in the same game anywhere. Ichikawa may need treatment. Still no sign of another change coming from Hougang. We'll get those goals to you in the next break in play. That's good hustle from Shawalanwa. Ichikawa coming out on top. And Fabian Kwak again in the mix, but this time the decision's gone his way. Well, there's still 37 minutes of this one to go, but Hougang need a goal quickly here. They came back from 3-0 down to tie 4-4 in the last game these teams played last season. But the way they're playing, there's no question that man, Noor Ali, is the happier of the two coaches. And after all the stick everyone gave him, including me, after that 4-0 loss to Geylang, remember they were to Albrechts, they were playing it out from the back from goal kicks when they were 4-0 down and playing with 9 men. I didn't know what he was doing. Shows how much I know. Noor Ali has turned this team around brilliantly. Change coming for Hougang. Is the referee going to let them take it, or the substitution first? I think they're going to have the substitution first. And as I suspected, I think Noor is coming on to replace Farhan Zulkifli, who went down in the box at the end of the first half and thought he should have had a penalty. So Afiq is on. And I have to tell you, also warming up for Hougang is the goalkeeping substitute. More on that later. Oof, and that's come off the feet of Darren Tay. That could easily have been an own goal. It's gone out for a corner. Yes, just to update you, they've already made 2 of their changes, but clearly Clement Teo, maybe just to put the wind up, Khairulin. Heng Hao Men, the substitute keeper for Hougang, is currently warming up. The man that's just come on, Afiq, to take the corner. Delivery is good, the header is in, and what a save that is. I want to see the replay there to see whether it was keeper or defender that got the touch, but it was a great save nonetheless. Hougang so close to getting right back in this. Brilliant delivery from Afiq, the first contribution he's made, and that was a bullet header. Who was it over on that far side? Was it Fabian Kwak? I'm not sure. It finds its way back now to Khairulin. Over the head of Stipe Plazamat and Ichikawa again. He's reliable as clockwork. Sahil. They want handball, they'll get handball here, I think. Is this going to be a yellow card? No, just a talking to from the referee. Well, very unusual. You see goalkeepers in the kind of extended warm-up procedure that we're seeing from Heng Hao Men of Hougang. Can they get one back here? Zaina was taking no chances. He may have exaggerated that save, but having seen what's happened at the other end to Khairulin, he was making no mistakes there. Hougang starting to get some chances going there. Zach Anderson staying up for that, managing to get their head to it. And of course, Geylang now, well, they've been doing so well being adventurous. The worst thing they could possibly do was start to get defensive now and invite Hougang to come forward. They've got the initiative. They've got the Hougang defence in 6s and 7s. Now's the time to go for more than 2. Van Heusen wants this. And it comes over to this near side. Christopher Van Heusen. Cheryl Anwar's hustling. Harith Kanadi now. Harith Kanadi to the edge of the area. He goes down and Hill with a free kick now. How do you feel if you're Khairulin now? Because this is surely Chris Van Heusen territory, is it not? Or Barry Maguire. Great work from Harith Kanadi. He was a player that Duncan and Shuko were talking up before the game, and he's demonstrated today why he's another big promising talent in Singapore football, as Fabian Kwok and Anders Aplin concede the free kick. So Van Heusen won't be taking this. He was the player injured, it looks to me, as if Firdaus Kazman or Iqbal Hussain. Now, Iqbal Hussain scored a perler of a free kick against the Young Lions in midweek. Will he try and do it again? Iqbal or Firdaus? Iqbal! Oh, side netting. Good effort. And that time, Khairulin was rooted to the spot. Iqbal really is enjoying the confidence that Noor Ali has put into him this season. And again, I'm not entirely sure what Hougang's free goal kick routine is there with Zach Anderson taking them. Why on earth the goalkeeper can't just pass it short, I don't know. He's stopped warming up momentarily, Heng Hao Men. And now here's Afiq. Afiq having to go back. And they've coughed up possession again, Van Heusen. Barry Maguire. Oh, lovely work from Maguire. Outside of the foot, what a ball. This is if it finds its target. Just a little bit too far for Khairul Nizam. But Maguire's got that swagger in the middle of the park, and he really is being a difference maker in this game. And Kara Nizam's battled really well. The ball comes in, and Khairuddin manages to take that one cleanly. Here's Ferdhouse to Van Heusen. What an afternoon he's having. I think he's embarrassed by it. Now, we mentioned that the reserve keeper for Hougang was warming up with the goalkeeping coach. There he is, and you can see he's stretching. He looks to me like he's coming on, by the way. He's been warming up vigorously, Heng Hao Men, for the best part of 5 minutes now. And when you're stretching like that, I wonder, well, if they concede another, I think you can be certain he'll come on. Barry Maguire. Harith Kanadi's had a great game. Well, there's a push on the edge of the box there, but referee not interested. Stipe Plazamat having to drop deep once more to affect the game. That's nice work. Really well played by Noor Arif. So many of these Geylang players have impressed today. I mean, you would never guess it was the same team that were battered. They were battered 4-0 by Albirex, even allowing for the 9 men. It could have been 6 or 7 by the end. Van Heusen unable to bring that under control. Very surprised as well, we haven't seen Shafiq Ghani. There's still one change that Hougang can make. The question is it going to be the keeper? Clement Tio's had that substitute stopper. Warming up for a while now as Shamal Anwar tries to acrobatically clear. All he does, though, is invite Geylang to come forward again. Van Heusen. Noor Arif losing out, and Anders Aplin just puts the ball all the way through into the Geylang half, and it'll be throw to the Eagles. What about those Hools? Still going strong, and unfortunately for them, the dream return after 563 days away from the Hougang Stadium has turned into a nightmare for the Cheetahs. And I think I'm going to take a general consensus around my production crew, and I'm seeing if I can get Duncan Elias's attention. This would have to go down as the shock of the season so far, even more so, I think, than the point secured by Hougang United against the Lion City Sailors, because this Hougang team already had 7 games this season. They've been picking up plenty of experience together. Geylang, they win. They have had chem against the Young Lions. They started this as red-hot favourites, Hougang, and it's gone badly, badly wrong. Maybe that's harsh. Tell us what you think on the One Play Sports Facebook page. I think there's not much in it. Is this a bigger shock than the Lion City Sailors won, Tanjung Pagar United won? I think it has to be, doesn't it? Because it's a win here. And it's just the way Geylang, even though the goals have come about in fortunate circumstances from their point of view, you wouldn't say it's a scoreline that flatters Geylang International. Sharal Anwar, that's good goalkeeping from Zainal to get there before the former Geylang man. Kairanizam running into the back of Anders Aplin. Passage of play like that's already almost resulted in a set 2 between them. Anders Aplin picking up the yellow card on that occasion. It's a nice turn of pace by Animanthan Kumar, but he's had to contend with Barry Maguire the whole game. Here's Anders Aplin. Noor Ali. He just wants those 3 points now, doesn't he? What a turnaround it would be for Geylang if they could go from the disaster of that 4-0 win by Albirex against them to now 2 consecutive wins. And what's more, 2 consecutive wins at the moment with 5 goals scored and none conceded. And all this without the suspended Farid and Sharin. Can tell you that the keeper now has stopped warming up, Heng Hao Men, so maybe that was just Clement Tio playing mind games with Khairuddin. The Hougang Halls, look at them. The Gate 3 band. What's the stand called over there? We'll have to rename the band. They can't be the Gate 3 band anymore. They'll have to be the Hougang Roadside band, I suppose, or something like that. Credit to them. They're going to have to watch their team defend another free kick, and we've been here before. Van Heusen, is he going to go for goal here? Van Heusen. Well, I think now he's probably getting too complicated and trying to disguise crosses into shots. If you're Geylang, you've just got to shoot at every opportunity now. You know Khairuddin's confidence is shot. It can't be anything but that after conceding 2. And I have to criticise Hougang, just like I criticised Geylang. This nonsense with the goal kicks when you're chasing a game doesn't wash for me. It's just inviting possession back to Geylang International, and that's exactly what's transpired there. It's not just in the Singapore Premier League, we're seeing it more and more. Unless you are a Barcelona or a Bayern Munich or a team full of absolute elite level footballers, this playing it out from the back at goal kicks I think is suicidal, and it can't be long before we see a team concede a goal utilising that tactic. And it's not just Hougang and Geylang, I've seen Tampines do it as well. It's going to happen this season that a team's going to concede a goal from that situation. Struggling to get anything going at the moment, Hougang. They've had that one chance in this second half, the header from Zach Anderson. And that's just about it. Stipe Plazabat has been virtually anonymous. Fabian Kwok. That's a good ball out wide. That's good thinking. He's found Vestering. Now Vestering's got 3 orange shirts to aim for in the box. Vestering gets it back to Plazabat in the corner of the penalty area. Plazabat. He's bullied out of it. And Geylang continue to excel themselves defensively here. Maguire. Trying to be a little bit too cute that time. And Zaplin looks up for an option in the box, throws it in there more than hope than expectation, but it's very well dealt with indeed by Noor Arif, another of the Geylang players that's having a great game. Going down now, hurt is Nazrul after the challenge from Firdaus Kazman, and Firdaus, to his credit, straight over to see if Nazrul is okay. Card is coming off the back of this, I fancy. Referee's got the card in hand. Let's have a look at it. Well, nothing too malicious, but the referee has shown the yellow card. Confirmation that Firdaus goes into the book. There is a look at the opener for Van Heusen. And look, he's embarrassed. That's the first one. But if you think he was embarrassed for scoring this one, wait till you see how embarrassed he'll be when he scores the next one. Look at this. If you're a Khairuddin family member, close your eyes now. Back to the live action. Hougang trying to press. Headed away to Barry Maguire, who continues to boss the midfield. Maguire played on by Karaniz, and that was a bit too casual. And Anumanthan Kumar is there. Zach Anderson. To Anders Zaplin. There's no oomph in Hougang, is there? And you have to say at this point, it looks like those exertions in Yangon have taken their toll. And another man is down on the deck, this time from Geylang International. And the physio is going to be required here. I'm just going to identify who that is. Down on the deck, is it Iqbal? No. I'll consult my monitor and get the close-up shot of that as the Geylang International man hobbles off, and it's the very impressive Harith Kanadi. What a game he has had so far. Really impressive down that left-hand side. There's Anders Zaplin and Barry Maguire involved in a little duel, and here comes the final change for Hougang. So Khairuddin will be spared the ignominy of being substituted as a goalkeeper, and it will be a substitution that means there's no place for Shafiq Ghani to get a run out here. Despite his 8 goals last season, Hafiz comes on for Jordan Vestering, and you can understand that because Vestering has done a lot of hard yards today, just to give them some fresh legs and maybe change up the formation a little bit. Still no changes from Geylang, and why would you? Surely Amy Retcher will be called into action before the 90 minutes is up. And Panagiotis Leonardos. I think he's the kind of player that might have some fun and games through tired legs in midfield. Now Hougang into the penalty area. Can they get a goal back now? They can't. And to his credit, Hafiz is straight into the action to win that corner, but Darren Tay does enough. We're at that dangerous period of the game, though, from a Geylang point of view. They've got to stay awake. Hougang take it quickly. And it's gone out of play. That'll be a goal kick. Change is coming from Geylang. I can see team manager Leonard Coe just handing over the relevant piece of paper to the official. Surely it'll be Amy Retcher to come on here, or the Greek, Leonardos. Amy Retcher would have to be favourite, I fancy, as Maguire gets it to Harith. And a Zaplin. Chris Van Heusen. And a Zaplin gets it away. It's all getting a little bit scrappy. And there's Fabian Kwok going through on Ferdaus Kazman. So it will be Amy Retcher to come on here. Amy Retcher will be on. The board will tell us shortly who will be replacing, but you'd have to think very likely it'll be Cairo Nizam or Iqbal Hussain. Bearing in mind they're 2 up. Other candidates to make way, potentially Noor Arif, I suppose, but can't take Van Heusen off for the luck he's got. If you're Chris Van Heusen, you're going straight out tonight and buying a Toto ticket, aren't you, after scoring 2 goals like that? Over the top, flag stays down, Shawal Anwar, and Zainal gathers well. Just waiting for a stoppage in play to make this substitution. Geylang don't want to drop their intensity levels. Hougang are looking a little bit sprightlier since the introduction of Hafiz. And now they've got something going with Nazrul. Nazrul finds Afiq Noor. Cross comes in and Stipe Plazavat. It's wide. And Darren Tay didn't get a touch. That'll be a goal kick. And now we'll get confirmation of who Amy will be replacing. And as I thought, it is Iqbal. So what a day for the ex-Hougang man Iqbal. Just weeks ago without a club, Noor Ali took a chance at him. He scored 2 in the week against the Young Lions, and now he's been part of a solid team effort from Geylang International that's seen the Eagles now just 20 minutes away from a famous victory. Zainal with a goal kick. And it's interesting now, isn't it? There's no nonsense of those short goal kicks from Geylang this week, is there? Leading 2-0. Zach Anderson's got time to bring this down. Heads it over the top, and again, they're running out of ideas. They've got no plan B or C, but the looks of things, Hougang here. After the first 15 minutes, I think they maybe thought they were just going to stroll the ball through Geylang in a similar style to as Tampines did against Tanjung United yesterday. But it's not come to pass. Despite the best efforts of Zach Anderson's incredibly short shorts, Hougang are now going to stay stuck on 3 points, it seems. Barry Maguire. Hafiz. A reminder, next big game that we're bringing to you live on the One Play Sports Network on Singtel and StarHub is a big one. Tampines Rovers against the Lion City Sailors. And of course, after what's happened here, it will mean Tampines will just need a point to go back to the top of the pile. All attention to that star-studded Lion City Sailors squad, who, like Hougang, have 8 members of the most recent training squad that Singapore head coach Tatsuma Yoshida has called. Far more than Tampines have currently. But Tampines, despite their incredibly congested fixture list, did look in cruise control yesterday against Tanjung Pagar United. It's a nice pass from Stipe Plazabat. Brings in Nazrul. Nazrul over the top. And Zainal, for a moment I thought he'd hesitated there, but he was confident enough that it would drift out for a goal kick as Clement Teo goes to the edge of his technical area to shout some instructions. But they're running out of time here, Hougang. If they're going to get back into this, the first goal's got to come quickly. Remarkably, in that game that finished 4-4 last season, there were no goals after the 80th minute. They all came in the first 80 minutes. Here is Amy Recker, his first. contribution. Amy with the fresh legs. Has he bought the free kick there? Referee not interested. That one controversial point from the referee when there was no penalty given to Hougang at the end of the first half when Farhan Zulkifli went down. Under the attentions of Josh Pereira it was, and no card for diving or penalty given. Oh, that was a nice intention there with a reverse pass from Nora if it's not worked out though, and a no, Barry Maguire's down for Geylang. They do not want to lose Barry Maguire to an injury, and what's more, in the short term, well, he seems to be hobbling up okay, but they've got defending through at the other end. Hougang driving through with Sahil, and Barry Maguire will now go down and get treatment. The fact he managed to get back to his feet when he thought there was danger for Geylang suggests he's committed to the cause, and also suggests it's not that serious an injury. But he did go down there. I think he definitely got caught. Whether it's just a small knock or something more serious, we'll find out shortly. And Zaplin, I think, just wanting the referee to get proceedings back underway. The incredible thing about this, the way the game has gone, but for those two goalkeeping howlers, we're looking at a 0-0 draw here. We haven't had one of those this season yet, because there's not been a swathe of chances for either side, really. When you look at the number of shots that both teams have had, it's not that impressive in truth. Possession, I guess, would be pretty much split between them. As we have a look at Barry Maguire, it was just the challenge coming through of Afik Noor that caught him. Yeah, when you go through the number of shots, there's been 4 on goal for Hougang, 2 on, 2 off, but none of them memorable, really. You saw that header off target from Stipe Plazimat moments ago. 6 for Geylang, 4 off target, and with the exception of the Barry Maguire effort, quite badly off target. 2 of them on target, but literally 2 of the most savable shots you've ever seen. As with 15 minutes to go, the man you just saw there, Noor Ali, is looking at the prospect of Geylang International being top of the Singapore Premier League tonight. Hougang Sporting, you get the ball back to Zainal. Will we see another goal in this one? That's the question. Another goal now, even with 10 minutes on the clock, can still burst it back to life. It's over the top from Afik Noor. Afik Noor. That's a hospital pass, but it's dealt with well initially by Anu Manthan. He can't control it though, and Amy Retcher, the fresh legs, and look at the pace. What on earth is Darren? Is that Darren Tay? He's gone from centre back to centre forward with 10 minutes to go in seconds, and now the ball comes through to Ferdaus, and surely, oh, all it had to do there was find Amy Retcher, and it was 3-0. Well, what about a round of applause for Darren Tay? I had to do a double take there. He went from one end of the pitch to the other. Look at the run here from Darren Tay. And this with the team 2-0 up, by the way, not exactly chasing the game. Hougang poor defensively again. It was well controlled by Ferdaus. There was no one attacking the 6-yard box. Iqbal Hussain has just been substituted. It would have been him if he was still on. And I wonder if Khairul Nizam's starting to feel the heat. Here's Ferdaus once more. Ferdaus deflected. That'll be a corner ball. Third quarter of the game for Geylang International, and more pressure on Khairul, who's not had much to do in the last 15 minutes. I can see the Greek player Panagiotis Leonardos warming up for Geylang. I wonder if he'll come on to just shore things up in the final 10 minutes. There won't be much shoring up needed if they can get a third one here. Barry Maguire's in the area. Van Heusen's delivery, and there's a runner coming very short as well. Well, he's made a lot of effort to get there, Harith Kanadi, but they won't use him. Van Heusen's delivery, drifted in. Zach Anderson is there first, only to the edge of the area, and comes straight back in. And I think Khairul will be a relieved man that that wasn't a difficult one to pluck out the air. Good hustle from Ferdaus Kasbah in this second half, though. He's been a real live wire. And it's really encouraging if you're Noor Ali. We talked during the Young Lions game the fact that Iqbal Hussain and Khairul Nizam, 2 players that maybe haven't been considered by other coaches here because of previous problems, maybe attitude or whatnot. The coach has given his faith to an all-Singapore strike partnership here. And the team unit, the team ethic of Geylang is what really, I think, has helped them recover. Here's Plazabat, though. Pulls it back to Sahil Suhaimi. Barry Maguire should be able to clear. Not too many Singapore Premier League teams have 4 foreigners and play 2 of them from the bench. Panagiotis Leonardos and Kamaluddin Tashiev, 2 of the Geylang internationals, both on the bench, and there's a man down here, Darren Tay. Well, let's have a look at the replay, because Stipe Plazabat's going over to say sorry, is he, rather sheepishly. Don't think the referee's seen it, and let's hope there's nothing untoward. I'm sure there isn't. And Ichikawa would know, wouldn't he? He's just giving Stipe a pat on the back to say, don't worry, no big drama. Let's have a look here. There's Plazabat with Darren Tay. Well, he's just caught the elbow there, isn't it? It's nasty, but these things happen. It's a contact sport after all. I don't think it was anything malicious. I'll give Stipe Plazabat the benefit of the doubt. Some may not. What it's doing, though, is making sure we're going to have at least 4 or 5 minutes of added time, I'd imagine, at the end of this. Particularly if Hougang managed to get a goal back. Thumbs up comes from the sideline. He's going to have a nice bruised cheek, Darren Tate. But he's one of many contenders for man of the match here, because he's worked his socks off. I've been really impressed with Harith Kanadi. You have to look at Van Heusen as well, but I think it'd be a bit cheeky to give it to Van Heusen, because really, he doesn't score if Khairulin doesn't make 2 terrible mistakes. Barry Maguire, I think, has bossed the game. And I think man of the match you probably have to give to the Hougang Halls. They've not been able to come into the stadium. They're over on that far side. That's what I do. I give man of the match to the Hougang Halls. First time ever a group of supporters have won man of the match. Even though they're behind closed doors, they've made the effort. They brought step ladders. They brought their flags and their drums. And the Hougang Halls keeping the spirit of the Singapore Premier League alive and well, even in these tough medical times. Khairulin gets it to Anna Zaplin. There's still time here, by the way, if Hougang can get one. Anna Zaplin looking for Stipe Plazabat. Flicks it on Plazabat. Was looking for Sahil. Anumanthan, he's dropped deeper since those changes. Here comes Hafiz. Oh, they've got one back. And it's Shawal Anwar against his former club. And now it's game back on. Well, there am I writing the obituaries of Hougang. But with 10 minutes to play, Geylang lost concentration. We've got our 3rd goal and we've got game back on. The substitute, Hafiz, involved, and Shawal Anwar got there before. The, up to this point, immaculate Harith Kanadi. The defender has to take a little bit of responsibility there, but let's credit the cross from Hafiz and Shawal Anwar hustling against his former club. Has made it Hougang 1, Geylang 2 now. Hold on to your seats, folks, because they came from 3-0 down last season to draw 4-4. The question will be, how much legs have they got left after that trip to Yangon in the week? Ichikawa. Geylang were very comfortable. All of a sudden, it's squeaky bum time here. Surely he's got to introduce the Greek, Panagiotis Leonardos, maybe just to work with Maguire to shore up the midfield. Spring in Hougang step now. Hafiq Noor over the top. He's found Hafiz. Very nearly back to Hafiq Noor. Amy Recha, another fresh pair of legs trying to make a difference to the middle of the park. And Amy Recha gets it back. Fabian Kwok is trying to chase him down. Well, I've got to say, I didn't see that goal coming. I'm building up the narrative to keep you watching it. You know, still game on if they score now. I didn't see the goal coming, but it's come all right. And the Halls have got a renewed bit of pep in their drumming. And nervous glances on the Geylang bench. And I can pretty much guarantee with 7 and a bit minutes left, this won't be the last Geylang player that goes down injured as they try and see this match out. And it's Darren Tay again who took that elbow to the cheek moments ago, and he's not in a good way. Remember, they've still got 2 substitutes they can make, Geylang, if they need to. If Darren Tay has to go off, well, surely in this environment it's a big ask to bring the Kyrgyzstani on. They've got Ilhan Noor and Kamalodin Tashiev, the two defensive options from the bench. I think you have to say that Panagiotis Leonardos is the option if they're trying to play this game out. Clementio can afford a smile, speaking to the fourth official. No doubt trying to negotiate how much added time will be played at the end of the 90 here. It's got to be at least 4 or 5 at this stage. Whichever way it goes, I can guarantee you one of the sets of coaches won't be happy. They've trotted all the way over the medical team with a stretcher. I don't think it's going to be needed. There is Noor Ali with Leonard Coe, the team manager. Looked so comfortable for them, didn't it? Right up until that 60-minute mark, and your fancy started to get a little bit casual. And I suppose he had to make the change, but you have to say, for all that Amy Rekker's given them a little bit of new legs in the middle of the park, that really was the impetus, as long as, of course, with the substitutes that Hougang made with Hafiz and Sahil coming into the fray. And it will be Tashiev. Well, the youngster from Kyrgyzstan, what a time for him to come on and try and make his mark in Singapore Premier League football. He gets the nod ahead of the more experienced Greek player, Panagiotis Leonardos. And he comes on, or he's about to come on, with his team leading 2-1 with 5.5 to play. Who'll make way will be interesting. I'm guessing maybe Cairo Nizam, I'm not sure. There is Cairo Nizam, who's doing his bit still. But they've put that on a plate to Anna Zaplin, who sends it very long, and that's a good header back to Zaino, who manages to gather. The change is coming. The second of Geylang's 3 changes is coming, and Kamalodin Tashiev comes on with this game still very finely balanced. They'll wait for the next stoppage in play with Hougang in possession. Stipe Plazabat again, he's having to drop very, very deep, and that's been the problem for Plazabat for most of this game. Tries to go on his own, but that's a typically robust challenge that comes in from Josh Pereira, who along with Ichikawa have worked very well to keep Stipe Plazabat so quiet today. Here is Stipe Plazabat. Shawal Anwar's in the box, potentially trying to get on the end of it, but Geylang International can put through it to Cairo Nizam. Don't think they can take Cairo Nizam off in this situation because they need him to be the lone man up top, don't they? Maybe Darren Tay will be the one to make way for Tashiev, having looked a little bit battle-weary in the last couple of minutes, but he's had a great game, Darren Tay, and absolutely ran his socks off. Substitution now coming, and it's going to be, well, I was wrong again. It's the 2-goal hero. I use the phrase in inverted commas because the 2 goals, if you haven't seen them, stay tuned for Duncan and Shukel's pre-show. They were the most bizarre goals you'd ever see in the same game. Certainly 2 like that scored in the same game. And it is youngster Kamalodin Tashiev, a couple of Kyrgyzstani players who've joined the Singapore Premier League this year, who comes on for a first taste of business end Singapore Premier League football, with your team leading 2-1 and clearly going to have to do some defending, with Anders Aplin spreading it out wide, finding Nazrul to the byline. Nazrul! Well, across the face, all it needed was an orange touch, and it's 2-2. They couldn't get on the end of it, though, and Stipe Plazabat, well, it sums up his day. He's had a very quiet day by his standards, and credit for that must go to Ichikawa, Darren Tay, and Josh Pereira. Very rare you get goal side of Ichikawa. It happened there, though, and just unable to get there in time with Sahil Suhaimi. Two and a half to play. There's got to be 4 or 5 minimum, I'd imagine, at the end of 90 minutes here. If they put up 3, I'll give up trying to work out how they accumulate and come to the decision of how much time should be added on. Doesn't seem to be an exact science these days. That's gone in, and a chance for Zainul, who had to tip that over. He had to be on his guard. It was almost the 3rd goalkeeping shocker in 90 minutes, and he may have hurt his hand in the process. Well, if he's not fully fit, he'd do well to get medical attention. Have a look at this. From open play, but that's the only difference between that and Van Heusen's first goal, and the other difference, of course, is that the keeper got something to it. If Zaino doesn't touch that, it may well have crept in. Who was it over on that far side that had the effort? Was it Hafiz? It may have been. Well, drama here. And don't go anywhere just yet, folks. We're coming up to 7:15 in the evening, local time here in Singapore. You're watching live Singapore Premier League action this Sunday afternoon, one of the few professional leagues in the world where the top flight continues, albeit behind closed doors. It may say the clock there, there's just under 2 minutes to go. We're going to have at least 4 or 5 added time here. Of that you can be certain. Anything less and Clement Teo will be going berserk. And now, Hougang have another opportunity from a corner. And the corner count for them has started to creep up. It's their 6th corner of the game. Can they make it count? It's the man, I think. Is it over there? It's Afiq Noor who's going to take it. Look how crowded that penalty area is. Afiq Noor, delivery comes in and Shawal Ammo, then he got ahead to it again. Just a little bit too high for the former Geylang man, and how would that have been if it would have been he that scored the 2 goals that brought this game level? Wasn't a million miles away. The delivery was superb from Afiq Noor, maybe just a little bit too firm and high. A couple of centimetres further to the ground with that cross, and Shawal Anwar may have made it 2-2. Well, now all eyes turn to the 4th official. Let's see what number the 4th official is about to put up. The ball will go up any second now as Maguire and Anderson get in a tangle. Ichikawa knocks it out. It's got to be 4 or 5, surely. It's 5, yep. 5 minutes, and I think that's fair on both teams, bearing in mind we've had a number of stoppages in this second stanza. Barry Maguire looks out on his feet out there. Geylang look to be cruising at 2-0 up, with chances to make it 3, but then with an hour gone after changes for Hougang, with Afiq Noor, Hafiz and Sahel all coming on, they started to come into the game again a bit more, and that goal, 10 minutes from time from Shawal Anwar after good work from Hafiz, means that we're still on a knife edge here. And even with the board saying 5 minutes, I think they're going to have to add on some seconds to that. Zach Anderson, faultless in the air. Barry Maguire, though, gets to it first. Anders Zaplin trying to find Shawal Anwar, but Barry Maguire is there. And now, Karen Isham's in business. He's got Amy Retcher in front of him. Karen Isham knocks it past Anumanthan Kumar. Anders Zaplin's now trying to get it off him. But Karen Isham sensibly just eats up some more seconds. Look at Barry Maguire's and acres of space over on this near side. Now will they have a poke on goal? Well, that would have been a spectacular way to bring the curtain down in this game, and fair play to Noor Arif for deciding to pull the trigger. Of course, the other thing that goal does for Hougang, it means that Tampines Rovers will be top of the Premier League tonight by goal difference. Their goal difference +1. Geylang Internationals now will be level, having scored 5 and conceded 5. Look at the hustle here from Firdhouse Kasman. Amy Retcher's there. Are they going to start playing corner flag tippy-tappy? No, and I think that's the right decision. Although Amy Retcher, having said that, has just given it straight to Afiz Noor. And now, here come the cheaters with Nazrul. Over the top, looking for Stipe Plazabat. That's solid defensive work. And taking no chances, thumping it high into the air is Tashiev, who's had a couple of things to do now, and he's done them well. And Tashiev again involved as he heads behind for what will be Hougan's 7th corner. They're rapidly running out of time to steal a point here. It would be a steal under the circumstances. They've not been anywhere near their best. Afiz Noor trots over to take it. Keep an eye on Anna Zaplin and Zach Anderson. Both of them look to me to be unmarked. And there's the header coming in across the face of goal from Hafiz. And they want another corner, they won't get one. And this goal kick won't be being taken anytime soon, I can assure you of that. And Geylang are getting ready as well to make their third and final change. Panagiotis Linados is going to come on to eat some more seconds up, I think. If there's enough time. They haven't handed the slip in to the fourth official yet. I think it's coming shortly. They didn't beat Geylang, they didn't beat Hougang at all last season, Geylang International. They're now seconds away from doing it for the first time in 2 seasons. And remember, in 2018, everyone was beating Hougang, so that doesn't really count. This is a big scout for Geylang International. After the humiliation at Geelong East against Albirex, they followed it up with a comfortable win against the Young Lions, and now it might not be comfortable at the death, but for me they're good value for this victory. If indeed they hang on, there might still be defending for them to do. Oh, he's gone through the back of him there. Josh Pereira is going to be shown a yellow card there, is he? And he can't have any complaints. Well, the clock says there's 35 seconds to go. I'd fancy we might get another 30 seconds on top of that, and even though he's stripped off ready to come on, Panagiotis Linados doesn't look like he's going to take to the field here. Shawal Anwar. He scored the goal for Hougang and gone closest since to levelling it up. Kai Rulin has done so much wrong tonight. Can he do something right by getting this delivery spot on and giving Hougang the chance to steal a point? Kai Rulin drifts it in, looking for Zach Anderson, who gets up to it. Geylang need to clear this, and clear it they do. Now Kai Rulin. Good first touch from the Hougang keeper. Gets it to Animanthan. And the clock now is up and over the 5 minutes to be added on for stoppages. Geylang International about to join Tampines Rovers at the top of the Singapore Premier League at the end of the 3rd week of matches. Amy Recha. And there you have it, a big victory and a famous win for Noor Ali. Our referee for the day, Farhad Mohammed, blows for full time, and in an eerie silence, bearing in mind we're behind closed doors, and with the Hougang Halls watching from outside the stadium, stunned into silence by the defeat here. It really is a Sunday afternoon that belongs to Geylang. A little bit of afters with Anna Zaplin and the referee after the game, but let's give some credit to this man. We call them wrong when they're wrong. His team were an embarrassment against Albirex playing with 9, but he's regrouped them. He's stuck with the Singaporeans up front. He's decided to bench some of the foreign talent, and with the heart of the team made in Singapore, he's followed that defeat against Albirex with back-to-back wins against the Young Lions, and now Hougang, last season's 3rd place team. It's not a game that Kai Rulin will look back on in weeks, years and decades to come with any fondness. You won't see 2 bad goalkeeping errors like that from the same man in the same game ever again this season. Both the goals scored by Van Heusen, but really, if there's any justice, they go down as own goals to Kai Rulin. And Hougang now have to regroup. 3rd place in their AFC Cup group in Group F. With qualification there looking unlikely, they need desperately to tighten up this defence that's been so weak all season. 7 games in, they're yet to keep a clean sheet, and they simply have to fix that if they want to be title contenders. A full post show to come from Duncan Elias, Shukul and Baz Latimer. I'll see you again on Wednesday for the Lion City Sailors' visit to Tampines Rovers, but stay with us for the post show coming up shortly. It's finished here. Hougang United 1, Geylang International 2.
Massive win for Geylang International, who goes second in the Singapore Premier League. And it was quite a bizarre match of football, wasn't it, Shuko Zailan? Have you seen anything like that?
To be honest, I don't recall seeing this kind of match in the past. But I think football is like this. A win is a win. I think you have to give credit to Geylang International today.
A win is a win. 2 goals are 2 goals. Barbara Latimer is standing by with the 2-goal hero, Christopher Van Huysen.
I'm with goal scorer Christopher. Obviously, you got the 2 goals in today. Have you ever been part of such a bizarre set of circumstances when it comes to getting the goals?
Not really, because last season it was more of like getting the assists and stuff like that. Getting the goals this year is like something new for me. But I mean, the first goal was something I planned because I knew like the keeper liked to like sort of read the directions of my kicks. And the second goal was something I didn't. I was unexpecting, man, because the field is bumpy.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, well, you guys have had a pretty good week. You've had 2 back-to-back wins now. And how do you think that's gonna, you're jumping top of the table almost. How do you think that's gonna boost team morale?
Well, I think it's going really great. We've been working really hard during training, and I mean, this is good. It's like getting our confidence back together, and we just got to keep going the same performance and the same way we play.
And in terms of purely just from today's match, how do you think the team performed, or your performance overall, especially with the national head coach here today?
I think we started off a bit sketchy because we were just getting used to the field, like being all bumpy and stuff, because we like to play football and stuff like that. But until we got used to it, after the 20 minutes, we started to like build our confidence and we went again.
Well, congratulations on the win nonetheless. A win is always a win. And Duncan, it's back to you.
Yes, credit to Van Huysen. As he said, last season it was all about the assists. He's in the goals and he's just adding to it this season as well. So credit to him. He's been working on that part of the game as well.
Yeah, I think he's doing well. Of course, you don't only want to assist for games, you want to be in the score sheet as well. So I think today he did very well on the flanks and he tried to take his chances. Although you would say he might be a little bit lucky, but like I said, a goal is still a goal, you have to celebrate it.
Just a little bit lucky. I think you're being very, very kind there. Bizarre set of circumstances. And for that first goal that he scored, yeah, he's putting it into the danger area. Obviously, anything can happen when you put it into the danger area. For the second goal though, good build-up. Cut it onto his right foot, got the strike away. So credit to the build-up play, but obviously a weak strike that the goalkeeper should have done better. But obviously, with the national team coach here watching him, do you think it was a good performance by him overall for Van Huysen?
Yeah, overall, I think he has get involved very, very well today. Like I said, the second goal, it might be a lucky one, but I feel that he took his chances. Although it was a weak shot, the moment the ball left his feet, I'm sure in his mind was saying the ball is not strong, but it's still a goal, and he should celebrate it. Like I said, I think he's good. He put a good performance today.
I think for both goals, I think he just looked away after he hit the ball and don't think he actually saw the ball hit the back of the net. But credit to Mat Noor Ali for rallying the troops after that devastating defeat to Albrecht Niigata. 2 wins in a row. They look good. They look, well, against a strong Hougang United side. They kind of dominated them throughout the match.
Yeah, I think although they lead 2-0 up, I think they still keep cool and composed. They are not making things complacent at the back. They're still rallying forward to get more goals, apart from the goal that they concede. But I think they play very well. They get out of tight situation very, very fast. Although Hougang is trying to press and win possession of the ball, but they keep possession of the ball and try to score more goals.
2 wins in a row for Geylang International. For Hougang United, 2 losses in a week. Barbara is with Fabian Kwok and he is reacting to the defeat today to Geylang International.
I've got Fabian with me now. It's a tough loss to take as it stands. Do you have maybe any words of advice for your goalkeeper, perhaps in the changing room? What would you tell him?
Kai is a great goalkeeper. I think he was there in many other games when we were not defending very well. And as footballers, we have our off days, and today is probably his. So, words of encouragement, just come back stronger. We have a game on Wednesday, and let's get the 3 points there.
That's great. Now, there's been, 2 losses in a week. Not the greatest streak, but, how do you think maybe it's just a little bit of a blip for you guys?
Yeah, I think we started off well this year. The last 2 games weren't fantastic for us, but we have got a very great squad, lots of depth, and I'm sure we will come back.
And what do you think of the push and pull in terms of today's game and the overall performance?
You know, I think we were not really outplayed by Geylang. We had both teams had our faults and had our chances. I think without the mistakes, we would have gotten the 3 points. But good on our boys. We came back fighting. We nearly equalized, and you know, that shows that the fighting spirit is in the team.
Definitely. Well, thanks for chatting. I hope you guys come back stronger. You know, there's always a way up. Duncan, back to you.
Yeah, great stuff, Barbara. Thanks so much for that. And Fabian Kwok reacting to that defeat. And I was just thinking through his whole speech there. Has Clement Teo, the head coach, found a settled formation, a settled team so far, or is he still experimenting on what is his best side right now for Hougang United?
Well, I think he is doing his best. I think he is playing a formation that they're used to. So I think it's all about tuning all the players individually and get the chemistry going.
I think individually they look very good. The first 11 full of quality players, but they just haven't gelled, haven't they? They did start the season a bit bright, but kind of have fallen off the rails recently.
Well, probably. I think maybe I'm not too sure. Maybe it's the fatigue due to the AFC Cup. But then again, we cannot write them off. It's still early in the season. They will definitely bounce back and be better. You can see that although today they trailing by 2 goals, both teams still got up and play attacking football, open play. They are challenging every ball. So I'm quite satisfied with that.
Yeah, this was the opening goal after 15th. In the 15th minute, Van Huysen with an amazing strike from deep. Or was it a cross? But it did fool Caroline Khalid. There was some wind. It did take a dip.
Yeah.
But it was a great opening goal. As you can see, that didn't really celebrate. A big turning point in the match. Could have gone Hougang United's way. It didn't. Farhan, so dangerous down the flank. Joshua Pereira did stick a foot out. But referee not making a decision there. Any thoughts on that, Shuko?
Well, again, in my opinion, I feel that this should be a penalty. He has been a threat down the left. Very, very good, good energy.
Yeah, would have been given on any other day, perhaps. So this is into the second half. 4 minutes in, Van Huysen picks the ball up on the left. No danger, it seems. Cuts onto his right foot, takes a strike, a weak one, and this happens.
His eyes was on the ball. That's like how this is the confirm that we saw that he definitely looked at the ball.
And even Van Huysen doesn't even celebrate. Do you feel sorry for Caroline Khalid as a former professional footballer?
Of course, I feel that this is something you don't want to happen in a game. But it happens. I think he's a positive player, I believe, and he will pick himself up from here.
As Fabian said in the post-match interview, he saved them on numerous occasions in the past. So perhaps you give him an off day now and then, and well, it's truly an off day. But I'm sure he'll bounce back, and I'm sure the support staff and the team will be backing him 100% for Caroline Khalid. This was Iqbal coming close.
Good shot.
Had whip on the ball, didn't curl enough, but it would have been special for him to score against his former side.
Yeah, of course. I think it was a good free kick. Just unfortunate, just missed by a few cm.
And by this point, Hougang United made some changes. They brought on the likes of Hafiz Sujat, Afiq Noor was introduced as well, and it kind of changed the match. And they got the equaliser, or they almost got the equaliser. This is just a build-up earlier on. It was Plazibat, good ball in by Nazrul. Plazibat got ahead of Darren Tate. Should he have got the ball on target and scored a goal there?
Yeah, I think he's doing very, very well. I think he worked very hard to get this head to the ball. It's just unlucky that he couldn't score this, but the build-up was very, very good. Nazrul with the energy down the flanks.
Yeah, Nazrul and Afiq linking up there. Plazibat disappointed not to get the header on target. All right, here's the goal. Great ball. Sumptuous ball in by Hafiz Sujat, another substitute, and Shaul Anwar scoring against his former side. And Hougang United were back in this. Did you, at this point, think they would have gone on to get the equaliser?
Well, by this time, I think it left about 15 minutes to 90 minutes, and I thought that Hougang would get one back at least, because they are coming, and then you can see that Shawal is getting in the box for most of the crosses. Only this one, I think, is the only cross that didn't exceed his positioning. So it was a well nicely goal.
And they were knocking on the door. Nazrul really came to life later on in the match. Again, combining well with Afiq Noor. Smashed this across goal. Was it the right decision? Should he have pulled it back?
Well, I think he made a good decision. I think it was good to cross it in, but maybe I think if he were to just send in a low cross, it might hit any of the defenders there. It might be an own goal. You'll never know. But I think it's a good cross.
They were knocking on the door, and this strike coming in by Afiq Noor, an awkward one. Zainal had to use all his power to turn that away from goal. Injured himself in the process, so a good save, but that could have been tricky.
Yeah, probably they want to try their luck as well. You never know, because both Zainul and Hougang's goalkeeper is not the tallest of the goalkeeper here in our league. So you just have to send it in.
And so they huffed and they puffed Hougang United, but couldn't blow the Geylang International house down. And so it ends here at Hougang Stadium, the first match after 563 days. Here are some of the stats. And Geylang International having more shots than Hougang United. On less corners, Hougang United didn't really take advantage of their set pieces as well. And 3 offsides to Geylang International's 1. So 563 days, Hougang United waited to play back at Hougang Stadium. Not the result they wanted. Any worries for Clementino right now in the dressing room?
Like I said earlier, it's still early in the season. They will definitely bounce back from here. They have more games to play. So they have to take it easy, work on their mistakes, work on their build-up. And of course, results will come, definitely.
And for Geylang International, they started the week on the wrong end of the table. They end the week second. They must be buzzing in a changing room right now.
Oh, definitely. They must be in high spirits. I mean, you have to celebrate every win, and then they will give the team a positive vibes for training, and then they're looking for the next game. So I think, of course, they'll be happy with this win.
Well, we hope you enjoyed our Super Sunday coverage here from Hougang Stadium for Hougang United versus Geylang International, and we have a humdinger of a match coming up on Wednesday. It's the biggest of the season so far. Tampines Rovers up against Lion City Sailors. We'll see you on Wednesday for that fantastic match. From here at Hougang Stadium, and on behalf of Syukur Zailan, it's me, Duncan Elias, signing out.
How long? Yeah, but how long do you need me to talk for? Not the teams. Like 30 seconds then. Okay. I'll just keep talking. You tell me when to stop.